Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the quarterfinals of the CEA Open League playoffs. Tonight, we have an unbelievable matchup between the 14th seed, that's UNC Charlotte, and the 6th seed, the Ohio State University Scarlet team. This is going to be a great one. My name is Jays Wills, and tonight I am joined by the one and only Bonsai. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great tonight. I'm really excited to see these two teams go at it, especially in Open League. Just as far as we've gotten into Open League so far, like there was, I think, 64 teams in this postseason bracket starting out. We're down to the final 8 here. Two of these teams are in this game tonight, and it's going to be University of North Carolina Charlotte versus the Ohio State University. And I really want to see who comes out of this on top.
I mean, I know we're in for an absolute slugfest, and I don't know why, but I have just a slight inkling that this match could indeed go the distance, take us to our decider map, but who really knows? I mean, the winner of this matchup will go on to the semifinals and will face the winner of the match between the UCF Knights. They'll be the I believe they're the 10th seed, and the Grand Canyon University varsity team, the 47th seed. So while we may be able to predict the result of that matchup, we have pretty much no shot at predicting this one because this one is going to be a crazy one for sure. We'll talk about our map bans just a little bit, and it looks like tonight our first map, as we can see here, will be Coastline. After that, that'll be followed by Cafe, and we'll round out potentially with a Villa decider.
Yeah, and with these two first maps being Coastline and Cafe, Coastline is one of the bigger frag heavy maps in Siege. So definitely, if you have a bunch of gunners on your team, you're going to fare better on it. Which also, since we are also on Coastline, I'm expecting a lot more aggressive banning of those fraggers there we have at Zofia, and also a lot of the hard breachers who have long range hard breaches, such as Ace and Habana, because those are great operators for actually opening up that quad wall, which pretty much makes getting across the site in billiards incredibly difficult. So I'm expecting to see a lot more, maybe a Habana ban in here, maybe an Ace ban, but we'll see as this last one comes in. Actually, it's going to be the Jackals. So interesting ban. You don't really see too much anymore in competitive play, as people have kind of figured out how to get around using Jackal. But I guess it is UNCC really not wanting to deal with the whole foot sniffing bit, and it's going to ban it out. So we're going to have actually no hard breach bans here. So the table is open in that regard.
Well, what I love about Coastline, to the point that you just made, is that hard breach isn't always a requirement on all of these sites. We see so many teams opting to bring more unique operators because this map has so many opportunities. That's why we see a Yana here. That's why we see a Lion here. Maybe a combination of both on a map like Coastline, because, as I said, hard breach, not a requirement. And that is why this map is actually considered one of the most balanced maps in all of the competitive Siege pool in terms of attackers and defensive sided. Well, this one really isn't either. Both teams almost a 50-50 split. This map really is, like you said, a frag heavy map, a gunner map as well. So we'll see that Maestro ban and that Wamai ban to round us out. But I know we're going to be in for a good one.
Oh, for sure. And getting to this first round here, in case all of you weren't aware, I'm going to call the site right now. It's probably going to be Hookah. Actually, it's going to be Kitchen. Interesting first site pick, but also totally understandable, as kind of the two sites you usually go to first on this map are going to be either Kitchen or Hookah. And usually the time when people take Kitchen instead of Hookah first, it's because they're more comfortable dealing with the vertical gameplay that comes with that. As Kitchen, there is a whole new element introduced where you have the vertical gameplay where you can actually open up the floor inside of VIP to get those spots inside of Kitchen. So usually teams that run Kitchen first are more accustomed to roaming and are better at roaming than other teams, as they can kind of flex that verticality gameplay where they can actually take care of the people trying to get that vertical gameplay in VIP and take out some pretty early picks here. But the Valkyrie is actually going to come in here, and that's actually something we've seen banned a lot in CEA lately, as no one seems to want to deal with those black eyes. But gonna keep an eye out to see if we get any extra information that's going to be round changing here with those black amps.
And information is so powerful, especially on a map like Coastline where defense roaming, I mean, it is very much a viable play, especially when vertical play, like you said, is so important. We're going to see the attackers likely try to pressure that vertical play down in the kitchen, find any early picks, force those defenders out of those angles. And so I'm really curious to see exactly what attack strategy we will see, maybe a more direct site take, but I would not be surprised if we see something of the top down approach. But I would love to talk just before we get into this one a little bit about some players to watch on the OSU side of things. 0-2, I know he is going to be a
Hmm.
threat tonight. He's got a crazy KD. He's got a 2.1 KD so far in the CEA Open League season. So he's going to be a player to watch. And on the UNC side, Jabungus is going
Oh
to be
yeah.
the player to watch. And not only because his name is Jabungus, and that is a fantastic name, but he is rounding the team on the top of the KD side with a 1.67 so far this season.
Mhm. And definitely, I wouldn't just count out UNCC based on those KD score lines either. As while they may have a little bit of a lesser KD in the form of Jabungus, it's not to say that they aren't doing better. It could just be that he's dying more often, which in a lot of these firefights, especially in Siege, it's a pretty low time to kill. So he could just be entry fragging more, and especially on the IQ as one of those kind of operators where a lot of the times they're getting treated as an entry frag, especially when they have the Commando 552. A lot of the times that's actually what they're going to be entry fragging with. And I think actually if we can get a little camo there eventually, we'll be able to see if it's actually the G3 or G8 instead. And the G8 I actually prefer over the Commando, as what the G8, when you put a angled grip on it, gets kind of disgusting. But
Oh, yeah.
actually, it might be vertical. I don't know if it actually gets the angle grip. Siege changes its attachments a lot, but oh man, that's gonna be the first one down. Actually, Rogue takes out Apollo, and that's gonna be the Valkyrie taken out really early on. But as long as she got her cams out, it's not too much of a loss overall, as the cams are really what her kit is. And getting back into it, we might actually see another kill coming out of here with Big Boosh. Kind of hanging on that security area, and there are actually two people inside of security. And Jabungus looks like he's want to push up here.
It appears that Jabungus now already worked his way into office from that vertical play, pushing in Aqua to start, but now he'll be supported by one right behind him, taking this fight onto security, but they have to contend with a prone combo, and Combo will find one. He'll drop him down, but right away gets traded off by Kyle Pog, and there it is, another one coming out from Big Boosh, and a double coming out from Big Boosh, dropping down Yeti as well as Kyle. So that takes us to a 2 versus 2 with about 40 seconds remaining. But the diffuser right now is dropped in security, and that's going to be a problem for this attack. They're going to have to go out of their way to get this back before they make the site push happen. It's very interesting what we're seeing thus far. It's not a lot of vertical play, mostly some linear horizontal takes as Big Boosh will find another, round out his triple kill so far, and it's going to be all up to Rogue. He'll swing on the courtyard. Big Boosh contends, and Big Boosh will win, and that is a 4K for Big Boosh, and a beautiful opening round for Ohio State.
Yeah, really showing the power of the 416 there, making it so that you understand why Jaeger is such a high priority pick. With the combination of the 416 and also those ADS, he is such a strong operator in these situations, but because he brings so much firepower, and also he just absolutely ruins the utility game for the attackers with those ADSs. And while they do take out 3, and you only get 3 of them, so you can only deny 9 grenades, but it's still just so powerful. And as we saw there, Big Boosh also flexing the aim there, getting the 4K to get his team the first round.
Yeah, Big Boosh really is telling me, well, I should have called out him as the player to watch, because he indeed started the night on a very strong note. And you got to give it up to OSU for a brilliant kitchen defense. The attackers really didn't even get close to sight. I mean, we saw a couple of vertical angles opened up, but really it all came apart when the defense took out those players who were pushing up into offices. I'm not sure, why the attack pressure was mounting from that side. That's not normally something you need to clear early on, especially, not only with a drone, but with yourselves. We just saw the attackers kind of push into offices and not prioritizing the site, the vertical angles that are so important. But you never know. I mean, a couple of mistakes here and there, not too much of a big deal, but OSU capitalized right away, and that's going to put them out to an early lead.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, we do have the Doc pickup coming in here, as well as the Lion pick coming in for Jabungus. Very interested to see how they get to use the Lion here. As Lion's one of those operators who can really make or break a site take. With the EU1D proc going off, or as some people call it, the Lion's Roar, but I think that's actually what it was called back in like what season 4 whenever he came out. But it's definitely one of the stronger gadgets, and it was essentially one of the most broken gadgets on
Oh
release,
yeah.
where it was this the outline of your entire person once you started moving. It was rough, but now it's just a ping, and now it's also, I think, a shorter cast time, but I say cast time, good lord. But oh man, Big Bush going for a big play. Won't get the kill though, but will drop Kyle Pog down to about half HP, and the first EE1D trigger will go, picking up basically, I think, only Big Boosh there, as he was the only one running, unless someone else in Sunrise was running as well. But that will be a lot of damage taken down early on, and that's going to be actually Kyle Pog dropping down even further here. He's about 25 HP with not even 2 minutes, not even 45 seconds actually gone by in the round, and that's not looking too hot for him so far.
Well, that is some very aggressive play from Big Boosh, but so far it's working
Woo!
for him as Jabungus finds the head of Apollo, dropping him down and taking out the Legion. No more goo mines will be regenerated, but there's still 2 defenders on the bottom floor. All right, never mind. Just one as Jabungus finds the head of Combo, and now it's going to be up to Big Boosh, the last roamer in play. He's in Sunrise Bar at the moment. You know, we don't have any Valk cams in play. We don't have the Pulse. So he probably should get out of there, because vertical play from below when they're trying to get a plant off is not something that this defense is really going to be able to pull off without that extra information that those operators provide. But in the meantime, Kyle, he'll get down and have to crawl back in hopes of getting rezzed by his teammate in Blue Bar. But with a minute 20 to go, the attackers very much have the advantage in this situation. But right now, they're really focused on this bottom floor. They haven't put any pressure onto site yet, except from a couple of vertical angles here. So that pressure is for sure going to need to get going.
Yeah, and all this pressure needs to actually start getting somewhere right now. It's getting a little late in the round for them to actually get on it, but then we'll see actually Yeti going up the site right now. So speaking of the pressure, it's going to go and culminate in a hot second, as the execute seems to be coming in here with the flashbangs going out and a very blind Arno on the smoke, and it will be Big Boosh taking down Jabungus yet again, and it will be another drop coming down with Yeti getting dropped by, I think that was Arno with the shotgun. And now we have 35 seconds left, and the diffuser is just hanging out so far, with no hope in sight of actually getting picked up right now, as the smoke grenade did go off, and he is just bleeding out on that floor, and Docstim coming through onto Arno to make sure he stays alive in that very close angle he's taking right there with the overheal. But 20 seconds left, UNCC's got to do something.
But here comes the push coming through Aqua. Rose going to find Arno, and now it's a 4 versus 2. Well, technically a 3 versus 2. Nope, a 3 versus 1, as Rogue will connect with the head of Big Boosh. Zero will find the frag on the down player. That'll be Yeti, but it won't matter. Kaya will take him down, and UNC will capitalize on the stagnant defense, the over-aggressive roam, and will equalize us at 1-1.
Yeah, and I think that really came down to just how that site take at the very end went. It was definitely a lot more concise the second time around than the first time, as it looked like the first time it was just kind of Yeti going in on his own there. And once they actually had, I think, the flank from Kyle Pog come off, it was definitely unlocking the rest of their team to actually get on the site, and gonna actually show up in the same way on the scoreboard with Rogue and Kyle Pog coming out with the 5 kills total, which is pretty much the equal the work getting put in by Big Boosh. Like, Big Boosh has been doing so much for his team.
Yeah, so far only 2 rounds in, and Big Boosh proving to be quite a force to be reckoned with. But I really do think we got to talk about the over-aggressive roam from OSU. I mean, it really wasn't necessary. I mean, we talk about how roamers doing their job right, doing their job wrong, and I think this was a case of the roamers overstaying their welcome. You don't need all 3 players, the majority of your defense, to be positioned off-site, and not even upstairs, off-site downstairs on the first floor of Coastline. That's not something you typically see. Usually you see a bit more of an anchor presence, and when that roam does come out, maybe it's more focused on holding down the VIP side, the theater side of things, to hold that side down and prevent 90 Hall from being compromised early. So I am pretty sure that OSU here going to learn from their mistakes and adapt that strategy a little bit, play a little bit more passively, because as we saw when that push came out in the very last few seconds, it was not a decisive push, but it was really assisted by the fact that OSU had already lost, 2 or 3 of their teammates by that point, and that made it a very, very tough situation for them to hold that aggressive push.
Yeah. And I actually need to fact check myself. I just can't count. Jaeger's ADS only gets 2 per ADS, so it's
What did you say before?
9. Yeah,
You
not
said
the
9.
yeah, I said 9, which
Oh, wow.
I had to think about for a little bit. I'm like, how many does it block? It's 2 per ADS, so it's 6. I can math, I swear. But gonna be a little bit of early damage coming down onto this UNCC roster, but I mean it's negligible damage, so it's not too bad. But we'll get a nice little punch hole setup coming out here from Apollo going into blue bar and the bullet holes actually, but he actually got shot because he made the bullet holes. Kyle Paul gonna take him down. Awkward timing on that, but gonna net. Ooh, actually, big Bush might here be traded out for his team as now he's getting pushed. Maybe if he gets his 1 kill, it's gonna give so much, but he got droned out. And I think he's just going to run or try to run as Jabungus pushes in and gets another one for UNCC. Not the greatest start for this Ohio State roster this round.
They made the exact same mistake they made last time, and of course, the round's not over. I'm not going to count them out yet. I mean, you are losing those goo mines later in the round, and you are losing that Jaeger, that 416. That's a powerful, powerful weapon when that push comes out. But I mean, you don't really have to lose those players playing very aggressively on the bottom floor, but it really doesn't matter at this point. The push came out, and well, UNC delivered those headshots when they needed to. But with about a minute 30 to go, the pressure still working its way in from the other side of the map. It appears that the attacking pressure now mounting from the penthouse side. We've got a couple of players in VIP, and we have Arno here just anchoring right now over on the billiards site right now, but he will get shut down by an aggressing TB using those holes in that breach over there. Yeah, that's going to actually be left soft by the defenders, but that one is going to backfire in a big, big way. And the only remaining defenders, with about a minute to go, it's Combo and Zero, both positioned in the hook of lounge right now.
Yeah, and it's really getting down to these last 2 people as it actually has an opportunity to even do things at all here. But it is Malusi and Bandit, who respectively I think have probably one of the most broken kits in general. But it will be actually 0-2 dropping. It is down to just the Bandit now. He gets 1 kill onto Rogue, making sure that he does at least have a fighting chance in this. But the diffuser is going down and does go down, and the Nitro will come through, but nets nothing with him on 5 HP roughly. It's going to look pretty rough for this, and he will get taken down by Yeti, who was running around in billiards, or underneath the billiards table at the very least. But it will be another round for UNCC up on the board.
Well, that was a very decisive push from UNC through Aqua, taking control of billiards and just getting that plant down, using that utility very, very well. But the big thing that we talked about before and we saw again was some clumsy roam play from OSU. And now, I don't like to lay in teams too much, but when you see blatant mistakes like that on a defensive side, you gotta question what exactly are they doing. We saw them do the same mistake the round prior. It didn't work out. They tried it again. It didn't work out. At some point, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, we need to change something up. It didn't happen both times, and that is why we're gonna see them head back to kitchen and service to try to manufacture some of that similar success and maybe emulate what they did in that first round.
Yeah, and really that's what they need to do here, as they have been on a slippery slope for the past 2 rounds, giving them up to UNCC. And if they really want to get back in their groove, I feel like they got to get around somewhere in here just to give them the confidence back to actually keep getting these rounds up on the board. And we will see pretty much the same lineup we saw the first time they came to this site, so nothing changing on their side. But we do see Jabungus sticking in the Lion this time around, which is an adaptation rather, from the first time they came to this site, which they did lose. So maybe the Lion is what they need to actually get it going again with another win and keep the train going. But we will see as they start to spawn in and start aggressing onto the building.
And what I think UNC were unable to, perfect on that first attack on this site was establishing controlled vertical play, around the time you should. I mean, we saw them get very efficient control of the map. They took top floor control about a minute into the round, and in terms of overall timing, that's a pretty good checkpoint, for an attacking team. And if you're, opening those vertical angles with about 2 minutes to go, a minute 30 to go, that is an overall good spot to be in. But it all comes down to how you shift that vertical pressure, shift that map control into something that can be forced onto the site and into an execute. And the execute is what was missing last time. We saw the attackers get hung up in office trying to take, more map control than maybe they fully needed. They didn't really need to force that security push as much as they did.
Mhm.
And because of that, we saw them drop the diffuser in there, and the attackers had to, spend some time going back and getting that. But already, a minute burnt, good check mark for the attack. UNC has top floor control, and Rogue gonna do what Sledge does best, and that is going to be Swiss cheese the entire floor below him and open up those
Ooh.
angles. And already, Rogue will actually be taken down by a brilliant C4 toss from below.
Oh, man. He heard the res actually coming through from Yeti onto Rogue, and if he had actually been on the same spot, that would have been an easy double kill, but unfortunately for him, he did move off of the area where it was placed, so it won't be a double kill, it won't be anything, but it will at the very least. Oh, instead there is something coming through as Jabungus takes down Big Boosh. That's the Jaeger down for Ohio State here, and it's looking like Apollo might be going on another little bit of an excursion here. But he is found out as the drone comes through. But I don't know if they know how many people are actually here. But Jabungus gets another one. Yeti gets another. Jabungus, he's on a roll right here with the Lion as he gets the EU1D charge going off here. It is just up to 0-2 again here, unfortunately. And the roaming smoke is something you don't necessarily see too much of. But I think he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do with life at this point. He has the SMG-11 and the shotgun, and pretty much an unhappy time as a whole, but he might actually get a kill here if he can peek onto, I believe it's the Sledge of Rogue inside of VIP or Guitar, but he's not looking like he wants to do anything right now. I think he's just kind of given up. I can't tell yet. Oh, man, unfortunate as the arm is shown to Rogue, and we'll end up taking him down. A flawless round for UNCCA and a third on the board for them.
Well, that was a beautiful switch from what we saw in that first round. UNC really did learn from what they did wrong that first time. They didn't send anybody. Well, actually, they did send Lion into security, didn't they? But this time, Jabungus was successful with that push. He was able to get a triple kill, and that really pretty much broke down the remaining OSU defense and allowed the attackers to storm into sight, get the plant down, and it was all up to 0-2, but he really couldn't do much with that smoke. And you got to give it up to really good gunplay from UNC. We caught a little bit as we were watching Jabungus just storm in there and just take off heads, because that is exactly the kind of play that really can put you above the competition, especially at the collegiate level. One player here or there can really just absolutely pop off and make a round go in your favor.
Yeah, and really these rounds, we're already seeing them kind of explode, really, as it's pretty much Jabungus for the past couple of rounds who has just been going absolutely insane with Lion, making sure that his team has a really easy avenue to get into these sites. But one thing I do want to see out of Ohio State is just some signs of life. Like, for the past couple rounds, I think that UNCC has maybe lost one or two people as a whole. I think if I recall correctly, I think the deaths right now, UNCC has died 3 times or I can't count, wrong column. The highest deaths they have on that team is 3 with Jabungus. So I am fairly confident in saying that it is a much better half start for UNCC overall, just in the ease of access that they're getting into these sites.
And I absolutely agree with you. And here we are going to see, I believe this is a blue bar sunrise defense. So what I absolutely love about this particular site is it doesn't just play like a bomb site. It plays like an entire map. You need to keep the entire map control, whether you're an attacker or a defender, to win this bomb site. And that is exactly because vertical play is not only so important on Sunrise Bar, but for Blue Bar, where you can destroy the entire wall facing the main lobby and the courtyard, that any defender or attacker positioned on the main lobby side can absolutely deny any plant or deny any defuse going on in Blue Bar. And the first pick comes out. That's Combo. That's the Mira going to be taken out right away. You hate to lose a Mira so early, but Rogue is also going to find another. He'll take down Apollo. that is going to be the large part of the upstairs presence. But Big Boosh will be the final upstairs defender remaining, doing what he does best, and that is play insanely aggressive with the Jaeger. Lion Scan goes out. Big Boosh delivers the headshot onto Kyle. So now we're down to a 4v3 as a minute has ticked away in this round.
Yeah, really Big Boosh being the last bastion of this on Ohio State team upstairs. And Jabungus actually almost gets taken down there as he tries to peek onto Big Boosh. And it will be 0-2 actually backing him up from downstairs. Or RNO actually, I take that back onto stairs. But either way, oh, and he does actually get Jabungus down. It's a 3v2 right now for UNCC, but that does not mean that it is not doable for Ohio State here, as they still have both smoke and mute up. And as long as you have that smoke up, you have the opportunity to pretty much deny as long as you want, with those smoke canisters lasting as long as they do. And a minute left on the clock, give or take a couple seconds, UNCC's definitely got time to play with to get onto it.
But Arno, still, very much alive and very much a factor. He's playing very aggressive. He's still roaming a little bit. So UNC need to be careful. If they're not aware, he could really sneak up behind them and be a real big pain in their backs. But we are going to see him start to flank Luggage, and Rogue is going to be aware that that player has disappeared, but Yeti's going to shut down that flank right away. So it's all up to 0-2. He'll find one, take down Rogue, and he's got two more to find if he wants to clutch this one out. 40 seconds remaining. The plant will be going down behind the blue bar. Now Zero's going to use these holes like we talked about. He'll go prone here and try to look for any. He'll find one. He'll take him down. The diffuser will not be planted, actually. Oh, no, it will. The diffuser will go down. Those shots not able to connect with the head of Yeti, but doing a large part of the damage, but not enough to end his life. And now we're in a post-plant situation. This one's going to be tough for Zero, but he has the Toxic Babes to cover, but that's not going to be enough. Yeti will deliver the final blow, and UNC looking strong as ever and taking a lead here, a 4-1 lead, a dominant one at that, as we get into round number 6.
Yeah, and it was really looking good for Ohio State there as they got later into the round. But once RNO went down, it looked pretty bleak after that, as it was just down to 0-2. And while he did almost actually stop the plant going down, unfortunately did not manage to connect any of the SMG-11 bullets into the cranium of, I believe that was, I want to say Yeti planting. Yeah. So in the end, unfortunately, did have the plant go down, and the Toxic Babes not actually pushing off Nomad in any meaningful way. So it was just Yeti able to just look through that breach hole inside of that blue bar wall and take him out as soon as he tried to go for diffuser.
I mean, it really feels that UNC is running away with this one a little bit. Once they picked up that momentum after round 1, they've really just kind of run away with it. They're really just taking control of this one, in OSU, they're going to be looking to try to bring this one back, hold on if they can. But right now, UNC just taking these sites with absolutely unbridled aggression. They're doing a textbook takes of this site. And when I talk about Coastline, the attacking strategies, they're not always rigid because this map doesn't require hard breach. What I like to say, well, the attacking strategies on this map, they're more like guidelines than actual rules. So,
for sure.
Common reference there. I'm sure you got that one. But, OSU looking to bring something back if they can, going over to Hookah, the site they were not able to do the first time, but maybe learn from those mistakes and try to make something happen here.
Yeah, and really what they need is something to happen here. It's looking like kind of a wash of a half as Jabungus takes out Apollo. Where did he get him from? Oh man, the spawn peek attempt from the Legion inside of Sunrise. Gonna get absolutely removed on contact. That's gonna be really rough start for OSU on this round, as they were already falling behind pretty hard in the body count pretty early on, and that just exacerbated the issue, and definitely don't want to be seeing that this early on.
Well, it seems to me that OSU are really trying to send a clear message, and that is that they are going to come out aggressive and really go for everything, peek every angle. But what UNC have said to that is no chance. They shut it down at every turn so far, denying that aggression and making OSU pay for when they're getting overly aggressive, when they're taking fights that they don't need to be taken. In competitive Siege, especially when you're on defense, all you have to do is wait for the push to come. And maybe, yes, you do want to roam, you do want to delay the push, make them worried about a flank from behind, take out some drones, but you need to play time. And what we're seeing here from OSU is ignoring the clock, ignoring that they generally have an advantageous position as a defense, regardless of what map you're playing. And they're really just kind of throwing away those early picks that they don't really need to be thrown away.
Yeah, and I definitely commend Ohio State here for going for that aggressive kind of play style that would probably net them kills if just it wasn't coming down to like these weird timings and also just getting, I think, out aimed in general. But unfortunately, it's just ending so poorly for them. And Jamungus, if another one, is Big Boosh actually claps back for one, but will not be able to clap back for a third as he nearly takes down. Oh no!
Oh my.
Rogue team killing Jabungus with a nade. Unfortunate, but just something to add to the list of things that may get OSU back into this, as it is actually going to even out the manpower for each of these teams with that. Jabungus probably isn't happy with them right now.
Yeah, you hate to see that early TK, but right now UNC hoping to bring it back and take us in this 2v2 with about 30 seconds to go and try to find a victory in this last round of the half before they transition to defense. But right now, OSU, much better than we've seen so far. They played that a bit strongly. They, used their aggression in points when it really was helpful to them. We saw Big Boosh really get aggressive. Combo also swung that angle hard, but this time Zero will fall to Rogue using that soft breach from the luggage side, but Combo will respond, take down Rogue, and he'll find the last one. He'll take down TB, and just like that, OSU bring it back a little bit and take us to 4-2 as we switch sides in just a moment.
Yeah, ice in his veins there, making sure that he stays cool, calm, and collected for that clutch situation right there. And unfortunately, apparently Rogue naded his buddy through the floor.
Oh my.
Oh man, so the skill to get the floor nade, but not enough skill to know that your teammate's right above you, even with, I think, X-ray. But unfortunate for him. That is gonna be an awkward situation, but at least he's owning up to it in chat. I don't know if that was kind of a troll moment for him, just kind of saying haha, or just kind of accepting his fate as getting probably flamed a little bit in comms right now. But with the side swap, we will actually see a very different attacking side coming out for Ohio State here, as they're opting for the Buck, Dokkaebi, and Habana here, which I definitely agree with, as Buck just offers so much soft destructibility along with that sledge. Like, they are the two operators that will remove the wood from the floors. Like, you will just see beams instead of flooring. But Dokkaebi's also another one. It's definitely one of those operators that's part of the InfoWars combo with the Lion, but instead of just going with the Lion, Dokkaebi's gonna come out here, which is definitely one of the more I guess impactful information gathering operators with their gadget you could possibly get, as the Dokkaebi call forces people to either displace, turn it off, or just kind of deal with it. I have seen people successfully just deal with it and let it ring, because it's not like where she was on release, where it just rings indefinitely. It does have a time limit now, and also you can turn it off with mute jammers. If you run over a mute jammer, it will turn off your phone.
Well, here's an interesting thing. We're seeing the blue bar wall be opened up at that hip high soft destruction all through the blue bar, and that's not something you usually see when you're defending on a hookah and billiards. That's usually left when you're defending downstairs on blue bar, but you never know. Maybe UNC have something up their sleeves here, because they've proven to be pretty good thus far with that 4-2 lead here, going over to the hookah site. I mean, it seems that this is their primary site rather than kitchen. We usually see teams bounce between these two. Both are so strong, both completely viable options for your first choice on defense. But compared to OSU, it does appear that UNC will be electing to go to that top floor. While Jabungus right now will be playing over in main lobby, and those holes in blue bar are going to be what he was looking through for the time being. But right now he'll look towards security and deliver the headshot onto Big Boosh. That is Jabungus absolutely having his way tonight. Going 9-2, I believe that's at, or 9-3. He is really a strong player thus far, clearly proving that he is a tough one to contend with.
Yeah, and really unfortunate circumstance there, because they actually stared at each other for a good 2 or 3 seconds there. Just kind of, I don't know if confused. It was like, oh, there's someone there, okay. And then eventually taking a Big Boosh. But they definitely looked at each other for a while there and just didn't react to it. And it will be the Ash going down, and unfortunately, that is Big Boosh, is who we're talking about as being one of the stronger fraggers in this map so far, but they still have Combo alive as well as Apollo, so the fragger power is definitely there. Not to leave out RNO on the Dokkaebi, but definitely not. You're not really looking for Dokkaebi as a high impact fragger operator, rather than just the information she gathers. But minute left, gonna have to start making their way onto site very soon. But 0-2 will start to get smoked off by those toxic babes, taking about 25 and change in HP. So definitely, ooh man, TB actually gets one on RNO, puts him down in the dirt. And it's going to be down to a 5v3 situation with 55 seconds left.
Yeah, OSU here clearly on the back foot, down 2 men. This is going to be a tough one. We see the pressure mounting from the Aqua side and a little bit of pressure from below, and that's Combo on the Buck, who is elected to do that. But right now, he is being pressured from all sides. Jabungus is still down here. The nade from above is going to take him down. We're seeing a lot of nade of fire action. That is unfortunate for him, but it is now a 2 versus 5, a very challenging situation here. The diffuser is in the hands of Zero, but he is very low HP here in Aqua. He'll try to find anyone pre-firing, but Kyle is below. Could try to get some vertical play. He'll deliver the final blow onto Combo. And here we go. 10 seconds left. The push has to come in. Kyle delivering the Nitro kill onto Yeti. The TKs are aplenty tonight, folks. And here comes Jabungus, taking down Apollo. It traded out right away, but TB will finish us off, taking down Zero and giving UNC, well, a victory in a hilarious fashion.
I don't know if they even want to call it a victory after that. That was... Someone take the nade privileges away from these players. Just apparently none of the people on these teams can use nades correctly. It's... Combo gets one, or sorry, Apollo got one on his own teammate. Rogue got one onto his teammate. And then on top of that, I think it was Rogue, actually Apollo again, or who was it? TB nitroing someone else on his team. Or it might have just been Rogue again. In which case, Rogue, come on, my guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great round overall. I mean, unfortunate that that happened, twice to each team. And OSU definitely not a fan losing their third guy there. But we did have a quick rehost, but we are gods here, and we put that back together in about 2 seconds because we have some magic fingers here. Don't even worry about that. But we will be getting into round number 8 in a 5-2 scoreline. Oh, don't tell me, Yeti. Don't do this to me, man. Okay, thank God.
That's what we thought.
No surprise we see the smoke pick, the clash pick. You really hate to see. It's always fun to see it implemented here or there, but as an attacker, pushing into a clash, that really can be so suffocating.
Oh yeah, just Clash is one of those operators. It's just you don't want to deal with ever. It's just one of those things that if people see that someone has played Clash a lot in their previous match history, they're like, I don't know, let's ban it, just be safe. It's kind of one of those like pocket pick default bans where it's like, oh, someone's a shield main, let's just ban the shields. It's but definitely it's annoying at the very least.
I totally agree, and I do want to bring up something that happened in the last round, and that was Big Boosh on the Ashe. He was the first one to fall, and that's not usually a surprise because Ashe historically has been seen as an entry fragger, and losing an Ashe early in a round used to not be that big of a deal. But it is a bigger deal now that we are in what we like to call utility consumption simulator meta, with absolute everybody on the defensive side being a utility soak operator. The Wubs from Malusi, you have the ADSs, the Wamai pancakes, all of these gadgets need to be taken care of. And so as an attacker, you need to bring operators that can take care of that utility and burn it so you can get an effective push going. And that's why Ashe we've seen her transform in her role a little bit over to more of a supporting role with 3 flashes and 2 breaching rounds. That can be so beneficial to clear a ton of valuable utility in this meta that we have today. And so losing an Ashe really early in a round and losing a fragger like Big Boosh, can prove to be quite a big problem. Here we have a fight on Rogue, top of Luggage Stairs. He'll find one, but that will be traded out right away by Apollo.
Yeah, and definitely something you want to take out in the Dokkaebi. early on, as Dokkaebi, the longer she's alive, the more annoying she gets with those calls that she gets. And with her taken down really early on, that's one less utility that they can actually flex onto the UNCC side with. Just those calls pretty much exposing everyone who's not either standing on a mute jammer or is Echo. And as we don't see Echo anymore, pretty much, um, just got to stand on a mute jammer or just suffer the wrath of a very loud buzzing noise for about 30 seconds. But Jabungus is playing pretty all over the place here. He's really looking for someone to kill on that Jaeger, and so far he's found nobody, but there is a lot of Ohio State presence inside of theater and bedroom soon to be, but gonna see that verticality coming out very soon, and with a minute 15 left, probably going to see a push onto the lower floors coming in, but Big Boosh is going to take down Jabungus. That's the Jaeger down, and just as we were saying earlier, that Ash is such an impact for their team while it's alive.
Yeah, and with about a minute to go, the floor is going to start to be Swiss cheese. The C4 coming out from below will not connect for the time being. Combo going to stay alive, going to use that skeleton key, do what Buck does best, and open the floor below, trying to force out the defenders. But right now, you only have one defender on the site. TB positioned over in the main lobby, and Kyle is in security. So, this is a situation where the attackers are going to have to find where the defenders are positioned, to use the drones to gain that information before this push can really go down, because as far as they're concerned, they've got quite a few players to contend with on site, when in fact they are positioned off site and are ready for a retake at any moment. But Yeti, left alone on site with 20 seconds to go, he's going to have to fend off a push and some nades. The nades come in, won't connect, the flashes will join him. He's going to jump outside for a second, and that's going to cost him vaulting back over. Big Boosh delivers the final kill onto him. So now it is a 2 versus 4 with 10 seconds left. The plant's going to have to go down, though, because we are out of time. Apollo will be taken out by TB. Great headshot there. And the plant is nowhere to be found. The time just runs out, and the defenders win. UNC take a victory, but that really could have gone either way if the attackers got that plant down in time.
Yeah, I understand the logic behind Ace not planting inside of surface there. Because they knew the mirror was actually inside of main lobby, and they didn't know if she was actually going to push into bathrooms and get that angle into where Ace would have been planting. So he did decide to go into kitchen, but I guess just fat fingered F or something. I don't know. Just did not get the plant down in time. And it's going to end up costing them a round and putting UNCC at match point here.
Yeah, this is a pretty big moment for them. They are, the lesser seed. Someone consider them the underdog here, but they're coming out to a very commanding lead, really telling OSU that they are here to play. And given that this is OSU's pick, Coastline, the first map, OSU here definitely probably are a little bit worried about this one and the way this is going. But in Collegiate Siege, it's all about adapting to the playstyle of your opponents, because we see so much variation in the level of play here, especially in CEA. It's great to see when teams adapt to how the other teams are what strategies they're throwing at them. If you see big pushes coming in from one side, maybe devote some more utility to that side, maybe devote some more roamers, try to play time, change it up a little bit. And that's no surprise why we're heading over to Blue Bar, the tertiary site on Coastline. And once again, it's going to be all about map control, as the entire map really plays like one giant site, especially when you go to Blue Bar.
Yeah, for sure. And also Blue Bar being probably one of the harder sites to actually take if you are that attacking side, if the defenders are doing their job correctly. There's only so many ways you can get into it. And more commonly, people don't go for blue too often anymore. They usually try to go into Sunrise, but Sunrise is even harder to take, as you can really only get into there from the windows or from dirt, or I guess this past version of mud. But so definitely going to be a little bit of a struggle getting in here, but they did manage to pull it off once in this map so far, but it was on the other side of the half. So we will see if Ohio State can get onto site just as UNCC did on their side.
Yeah, but we already see very aggressive attacking pressure coming up into Kitchen. Now Kyle's
Oh
going to
no.
just absolutely eliminated by a fantastic push by Big Boosh. Now, I don't know about you, Bonsai, but I love saying the name Big Boosh.
Yeah,
I could
big
say it
Bush.
so many times. And it's great to see that he's being so aggressive, lighting up the scoreboard tonight, allowing us to say his name quite a lot. But right now, we are going to see the attacking pressure starting to mount, getting this pressure onto the main lobby and taking control from the east side. Now, control of main lobby is essential if you want to go for Blue Bar, but right now, Blue Bar is far from secured. There's TB and Rogue playing in offices, assisted by a lot of utility and some deployable shields, what we sometimes call as those pocket mirror windows now because of those slats in them, those windows. That's going to be a strong position for them to hold, and it's going to be a challenge for Big Boosh and the rest of his team to contest that.
Yeah, and really, it's gonna get in a little bit of a struggle mode here. It's actually Big Boosh coming in again on the TB, curing his tuberculosis and making sure that he stays on the ground and ineffective against the rest of his team. And it's going to be a 3v5 now here for UNCC. And it's looking pretty bleak for this round as the Dokkaebi call comes in. It's actually going to be Rogue looking like he wants to aggress here. But instead, Dokkaebi's going to get the headshot on him, putting him down, making it even more bleak for UNCC in this round as they are down to 2 now. And the call's still going in, so they do know that Jabungus is inside of this courtyard area. They just haven't digressed onto him yet, so he has time to live, at least for now, but he will get one, almost gets another. But will have Buck getting away with his life for now, but Apollo takes down Yeti, a 1v4 now. Double kill for Jabungus. It's all up to him now, left in here, and he does actually have an inkling of an idea that there is one inside of Kitchen, but will not be able to take him down quick enough as Apollo gets the headshot onto him with the SMG-11, giving Ohio State a much-needed third round.
Well, that was an excellent defensive adaptation for OSU. Looks like they know what they're doing when it comes to that Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar site. That was pretty decisive the entire time. It really looked like UNC was on the back foot for the duration of the round. You know, we saw Jabungus there trying to make something happen, but when the attackers know that there's a defender in courtyard, there are about 30 angles from about every which way that the attackers could have on you. So Jabungus, no doubt, caught between a rock and a hard place there. Not much he could do. And obviously, he eventually fell to some great play from the attack there from Apollo. But we're 6-3. We're still match point. And if this goes like it has before on the hookah and billiard site, you know, UNC are absolutely in the advantageous position. They were able to win 2 of their defensive rounds so far. And really looking to continue that previous momentum and win this site once again, as it does appear to be their primary site of choice.
Yeah, and really, they are just so close to actually ending out this map, and they really need to get that one last round map if they're going to have that safety net of that third map in the bag if they so need it. Because if you have that first map lead, you really don't have, you have like kind of rounds to play with in a way for the second map. Because if you lose the second map, then you just go to map 3 and you're fine. And it's just a reset. Maybe it's a better map for you. And so you definitely have a little bit more chance to actually win the entire thing, in my opinion, as if you can get as many rounds as possible in the map that you feel comfortable on, as this is actually the OSU pick. So you would expect OSU to be ahead here, but they're not. They are actually down by half the amount of rounds that UNCC has. And it would be very unfortunate to actually lose your map pick here, especially with the third map's round diff deciding who starts where. And it's going to get really difficult for them to actually get that advantageous side start if they're looking to end out this first map at 7-3.
Yes, but this one's still absolutely in the hands of OSU if they're able to muster a comeback, take that momentum that they had in that previous one. But all that momentum is going to have to start by forcing Jabungus out of this position, and Kyle as well. Both of these roamers could prove to be a problem if OSU do not deliver them to their graves. They're going to need to drone them out, use that Dokkaebi utility, call them on their phones and say, hey guys, you wanna come out and play, get peeked by a Dokkaebi with a DMR? Well, for now, they're going to remain passive, playing in courtyard and in the bathroom right now, and Arno really alone trying to conquer this, but eventually will be assisted by Big Boosh coming in security. But Kyle getting very aggressive with that Mozzie, swinging the angles, but for now will not matter. And Big Boosh opens us up this round, taking down Jabungus and continuing that OSU momentum. But we still have one roamer to worry about, and that is Kyle. He is still lurking around. We'll try to find him shortly, but Combo, he is doing the vertical pressure, doing what Buck does best, opening up those vertical angles.
I mean, he's probably taking pleasure in the vertical pressure, but definitely going to be seeing a little bit more of a proactive role coming out of him this round, and hopefully we don't get any more nade kills through the floor, TKs, as we're already up to 3 TKs on the map so far, and it's been rough overall, but Big Boosh with another one getting onto Kyle Pog, taking him down. Not so Pog now as he drops down, bringing it to a 3v4 situation. So it's still doable, but definitely not in the situation they want to be in on match point here. And Yeti has a pretty nice angle actually onto that bottom floor and smokes himself. And not quite sure what the point of that one was, but maybe he was also doing it for the people on the other side in bars. We did actually see a 0-2 push coming in here onto site, and it will be him smoking out again, and TP gets the kill into 0-2. It's now even, and 30 seconds left for Diffuser to go down, and it is just sitting in a cloud of poison gas at this point. And now we are in a desperate situation for OSU, as now they're fighting for their map lives here as another one drops. It's now 2 people left for OSU, and make it 1 as Combo drops to Rogue, and another one to Yeti. That's going to be round 7 in the bank for UNCC, and their first map in the bag as well.
Well, that was a great defensive performance for UNCC. They really held that site down. We saw those smokes come out from Yeti. Did a great job applying pressure to the default plant spot, not allowing the ace to push in and try to sneak a plant down. And that is exactly what Smoke does best. Delay, delay, delay. But really, this round, I mean this entire map, rather, we saw flashes of brilliance from both teams. And I have no doubt that we are going to see similar performances from these teams as we move on in the night. As a reminder, our second map going to be Cafe. We see this all the time in Collegiate Siege, so I would not be surprised at all if this one is going to be an absolute scrap, an absolute slugfest, as both of these teams have really proven that they have what it takes to take us all the way to some really good rounds, and that's why I would not be surprised if we do see our decider tonight. But we will take a quick break, everyone, so please stick around, and we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us during that quick break. If you are just joining us, we saw a fantastic map number one. That was Coastline, and it was UNCC who came out on top at 7-3, just proving that they were on their game in a big, big way. But OSU have what it takes, and maybe we're going to see a closer second map, and that's going to be Cafe. Bonsai, talk to me, man.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely I'm hoping to see a little bit of a closer matchup as the 7-3 is definitely not the way you want to be starting here is Ohio State here. But before we get into our second map of the day, which could possibly lead to a decider third on Villa, definitely want to shout out our amazing sponsors of the league. We got 3 sponsors, as you all may know. We got CORSAIR, which it helps us out with our giveaways that we have throughout the season. So make sure you're in the Discord for when those go live, as well as prize pooling. As the prize pool this year is actually looking pretty fire with I believe keyboards and mice getting put into the prize pool. Got some pretty good ones on that. With I think the actual prize pool being so invite league open league champion actually in being the 5 Corsair K68 RGB mechanical gaming keyboards with Cherry MX Reds here. So definitely a great first prize, and then Corsair HS550 gaming headsets for the runner up. So definitely big shout out to them for putting up that amazing gear for that. And we also got What's New.gg, our apparel sponsor, CEA. Gotten a lot of CEA apparel up on there with mouse pads, jogger pants, and also a soon to be released. I'm not sure if it's actually released yet, but soon to be released jersey hoodie, which I'm very excited for. I don't know about the rest of you all, but definitely make sure to check them out. And then also the OG, the one and only Rogue Energy for all of your energy gamer needs. And make sure to use code CEA at checkout for 10% off your entire order. But getting into this map, I really want to see OSU bounce back. Like, I want to see them have a better map than they did on the first map, as the first one was kind of a shutout and almost a shutout, as it was just a lot of really, really quick kills coming in onto OSU, losing that man advantage really, really early on. And with that actually being their map pick, and this now being UNCC's map pick, really curious to see if the kind of CEA curse comes through again, where it's you lose your map pick and then win the other person's map pick. But the first ban will be Thatcher, which is 100% to be expected.
Absolutely, and I would not be surprised if we see something on the other side of things, like a Valkyrie off the table, or something in the way of a Wamai, maybe removing the pixel angle from play. All those things very interesting. Our second attacker ban will actually be Zofia. Great ban there. Not the most common, but always a strong operator, so no surprise to see her off the board as well. But I do quickly want to touch on that last map before we get into this one. Well, it wasn't 0-2 who was the big player on OSU. Rather, it was Big Boosh, and he really made a statement. But unfortunately for him, that statement wasn't enough to take OSU over the top and give them the advantage over a UNC squad that has come here tonight with a fervor that we have not seen them yet this season. They have come out here and trying to take the fight to OSU, to the 6th seed, and really just say, we're here to play, and we want that dub. We want to move on to the semifinals, and Jabungus was indeed the player to watch on the UNC side, and that was no surprise. We talked about that coming into the match. He's been on a tear recently, so seeing him in that position was no shocker. We do see the Wamai ban and the Mira ban, our final 2 bans to wrap us up, and that is no surprise. But the Wamai ban, I love to see that because it really changes how teams have to play the sites, especially on the bar and cocktail site.
For sure. And we actually saw Cali getting flashed there initially, which they may decide to 6-pick back into it just to make sure that they do have it in there. But it does look like, at the very least, we're going to have a 6-pick coming out on the side of UNCC, taking the castle over the rook, which I actually agree with going into some of these sites. But it's actually going to be a fireplace mining first map, which I have not seen since Cafe got reworked.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't know if they just did the wrong site thinking it was reading foot dining, or if this is all part of a planned strat that I'm just too peanut brain to understand. But I am at the very least curious to see how they're gonna do this site, because it's very much so become probably the worst site on the map after the rework for Cafe came in. And just because it's pretty much the only existing site that pretty much hasn't changed at all with the rework of Cafe, but it's still, so it definitely has a lot of experience that you can apply going into it, but I'm just kind of speechless about it. But it does look like they're going to do the pretty typical hold it from the second floor type strat that a lot often comes with a fireplace reading room hold. So maybe just modifying that type of hold to this side, just so they have an extra site in their site pool.
Yeah, it is questionable pick, and I'm really glad you brought that up. You really don't need this site because your tertiary site of that can really make or break or push, especially when you're trying to get pressure down onto the train room to take control of either site.
Yeah, for sure. And oh man, Apollo putting down the early damage onto Jabungus, taking him down. But it does look like one will soon fall on the side of OSU, as both Combo and Arno are taken very, very low here, with Arno with basically non-existent levels of HP, and Combo hanging around at a slightly more healthy 25-ish, give or take a couple HP, but definitely very close to death. But Jabungus on the Melusi will be the first to drop. And unfortunately for UNCC, that was kind of the person we were looking to have a large impact for them on this map, and he's down early.
Well, not going to be great for the defense, losing that Melusi, but not too big of a deal. The utility already placed down, so they should be able to recover this if they are careful. We saw Rogan T.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
For the attackers, you don't really need to force this. You just need to put that pressure to delay it. We will see Apollo using that hard breach gadget from Capitao to try to open it up, but because it is soft destructible, it will be taken down from below, and Kyle Pog will remove that. So right now, the vertical angles are not being developed whatsoever, and because of that, the attackers are going to have to switch things around and try to go for more horizontal, a more linear approach. We see them positioning in pillars, and just like that, Apollo will take the head of Rogue for his own, and it's 5 versus 3, just like that. But the push, it's still up to the responsibility of the attack. Castle barricades and smoke will delay it. Arno will be taken down, and everyone is taking a little bit of HP damage to this smoke. Apollo sends it right through without a care in the world. LMG in hand, he'll swing the angle. Big Booch finds one, and Apollo finds another. He's on a triple kill, could try find a fourth here. The plant is going down, but Kyle working his way from below, trying to get a flank. But Arno, now really just a drone for the attackers, will suss out the position of Kyle. Kyle will find one getting onto Apollo. What a shot, actually. Taking the Capitao out of play as he rotated away into pillars. But this is a nearly impossible retake situation. Yet he will finally get taken down. I mean, Arno will. But Combo finishes off Kyle, giving OSU a successful attacking round number 1.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of the same start we had as the first map, with OSU getting that first one. So definitely the same start so far for OSU. They actually have to now change their fate here, as they now need to get that second round they could not in the first map. And judging on how that first round went, I definitely think they can do it.
Well, I've already written this one down as a potential question I'm going to ask anyone on UNCC if they do win tonight and we get a chance to speak with one of their players. Why did you go to fireplace and mining? What's the reason behind that? Did you concoct some sort of ridiculous strategy out of nowhere, pull it out from some pro league match you dug up somewhere? But clearly that one did not work out for them. You know, even if it came down to that 5-second push, we talk about the 20-second meta so often, and really that was more of a 5-second meta because that push came so late. Did not seem to matter. OSU took control of pillars and just took the defenders out one at a time. And that was enough for them to take the round win. But now UNC will be heading back to what is generally considered the preferred site, and that will be Bar and Cocktail.
Yeah, and definitely a much more standard site this time around, as it's one of probably the most people's primary choice for a primary site on this map. The most common first pick, I think, other than third floor, is Kitchen, as both of the sites are pretty close in strength, just outright in terms of how the default setup comes in. But oh man, are we seeing a spawn peek out of Jabungus here?
Oh my god, Jabungus sending it with that 2-time scope on Rook, trying to use that to advantage. The only reason you usually see Rook picked nowadays is because he has that 2-time scope, one of the only defenders to have that in his arsenal, but it appears for the time being that that one did not pay off. He got sussed out pretty early, the window got sprayed open, and he chose to just play his life rather than really try to send that spawn peek.
Yeah, and good for him that he didn't, because if he had just held that angle, I think, a little bit further to the left, he might have gotten taken down there pretty quickly on that spawn peak and just kind of would have bit him in the butt. But he will survive, and we actually do, I think, see the Selmas coming in onto the Cigar wall here to make sure that OSU can get a little bit of more Cigar control. Although little do they know that no one's actually playing in Cigar right now. It is just the Warden, actually, which I just now noticed that Warden is now in play here. Warden hanging out inside of that pixel bench area. And if you just swing it onto Piano, you can just kind of take it, but they don't know that, obviously, and we do, because we have the glorious power of spectator slot to tell us that. But they will nonetheless start to push into Jewelry, so definitely making aggressive moves in general. And actually, the fire arrow of Apollo will push off Rogue from his pixel bench area, allowing Big Boosh to actually pop up onto that ballistic shield. But Kyle Paul goes for a very aggressive run out, will drop to 0-2 on that ace. And Apollo with another one on the Rogue, making sure that the kills keep coming. Big Boosh with the third for his team. Oh man, the kills are flying left and right, making it so hard for this UNCC roster to keep anything going here on this defense. But definitely it is still doable, as they have Jaeger and Mute left on the table with a minute left. So all they have to do is wait for them to come to them. And now the flashes start to come out for the execute, and the Nitro actually comes out, and it will actually get 100 Big Boosh going down to the Nitro. It is going to be the first kill, and we have a lagging out. I don't know if it's the spectator lagging out or it's TB lagging out. Oh, okay, it was a spectator. We're back, and we have Arno dropping to TB in that little bit of a lag session we had there, but it will be all good and swell now, as it is still Yeti and TB here with a plan maybe, but Yeti's trying to get a little aggressive into Piano, but gets nothing so far. And with 20 seconds left, OSU's got to get on the site quick, and they got to do it now. And they do start to move into Freezer, and that will be TB dropping to Apollo inside of Freezer, and it is all up to the smoke inside a bathroom. He is stuck in there, and he will more than likely soon drop, as he is, yep, and right as I say that, trying to second guess myself, he will drop the combo sledge, giving OSU that much needed second round we were talking about.
Well, that was a stellar push from OSU. They took control of Piano with absolute efficiency, and that is exactly what you need to do to get any effective attack going on the Bar and Cocktail site. Now, because we don't have the Wamai in play, because he is banned, that is why we saw the Warden. The only real reason you ever see a Warden picked is when the Wamai is banned, because without those pancakes from Wamai, you have to just sit behind that pixel shield and just tank every flash and every smoke that comes your way. Unfortunately for Rogue, you cannot tank a bolt from Capital. That fire is going to force you out of the position regardless if you have special glasses or not. And he was forced to fall back. The Piano control was taken, and a great swing of aggression from Big Boosh as well. And eventually, Rogue fell to that push. So a very clinical take of Piano for OSU. But I gotta say, right now, it seems that our bit of a break between the maps has really let OSU find something we hadn't seen from them on that first map. They've come out here with such force, and this aggression is paying off this time rather than penalizing them at every turn.
Mm-hmm. And just to speak to that warden point, yeah, definitely no prescription is going to save you from fire damage.
That's a
So
good point.
definitely much harder to hold that with a Capital on the board and no Wamai to speak of, as the Jaeger ADSs will not stop those kind of projectiles. Only the Wamai will, which makes him a very, very powerful gadget denial. But one thing I do want to point out here is that we are going to Kitchen, and this is the first time they've been to Kitchen. And also, they have not lost yet, so that means that next round, they get to come back to, if they so choose. Actually, I'm speaking out of my butt right now. I've got it all swapped up, but OSU's won every one. So basically, UNCC has no sights locked so far. They have free reign of where they want to go, but nothing has worked so far. So they are trying to figure out what is going to work. Because they went from a very, very strong first map to getting pretty much shut out.
Without a doubt, they are clearly the ones struggling to find some traction here in this one, and they're hoping that maybe Kitchen and Service can bring it back for them a little bit. And right now, we do see the top-down clear coming out from the attackers. This is going to be so important. Establishing map control, forcing Kyle and Jabungus out are going to be the first two steps. Jabungus, though, will deliver the first kill of the round, taking out Combo, who's getting a bit saucy over there on the mining balcony there, and he will get taken out right away. Now, that's going to be a problem for OSU because they no longer have those air jabs to provide that much-needed flank watch, especially on a map like Cafe, where there's so many stairways, so many ways that a defender can properly flank an attacker. Those air jabs are so crucial to locking off those points of aggression. But right now, that aggression will be in the favor of OSU. They're clearing out the defenders rather, one at a time. Kyle was forced to fall back all the way downstairs, and Jabungus as well has now taken up a position back on site, giving map control to the attackers. But with about a minute 20 to go, the vertical pressure will start to come out from Arno on that sledge. Once again, using that breaching hammer, doing what Sledge does best, and opening up the floor, Swiss cheesing the ceiling to give them the lines of sight into the bomb site in hopes of picking off any over-aggressive defenders.
Yeah, and those really over-aggressive defenders, I think, are how they're going to actually get back into this. As while there is one person dead, they are now below the minute mark, and that was a voice crack I'm not proud of, but we'll be seeing the vertical play of the Swiss cheese coming in with that huge sledgehammer of Sledge, and that's pretty standard. Does actually bait out the Nitro, which I'm not quite sure why he went off on that, but valiant attempt from Yeti to actually get the Sledge out of Fireplace, but did not pan out, as he is sitting on the table and kind of just going ham on the floor. He has some vendettas to take out against that floor, I guess, but we'll actually probably see a peek from Jabungus onto the Ash. Oh, man, I don't know how he didn't get the headshot there. Very, very close there. And we'll actually be Kyle Paul getting one onto Apollo, but 0-2 quickly collapses back onto Kyle, making sure that his teammate doesn't go down in vain. And it is Jabungus going to peek again. He gets one onto 0-2, and one is down actually on Brown Stairs, and Yeti finishes it out onto Arno, giving UNC their first round.
Well, that was excellent coordination from UNCC. They really just shut down the push from every which way. Jabungus, playing on Whiskey Bar, just shut down multiple angles all on his own, assisted by a player in VIP. And while the push did come out from there, it wasn't enough to force out those anchored defenders, really just playing passive and waiting for the push to come in. But it appeared that time was the bane of the attackers there, being that 11th man that we always talk about, because time can be such a good factor for the defense, who can just wait around and wait for the attackers to walk into their lines of sight. But one thing we're seeing here from UNCC, and something I think that is really making this a bit harder for them, is we don't see any information operators on their side of things. With a Valkyrie, not banned. With a Maestro, not banned. They're both on the table. You can absolutely use these operators, but UNC not electing to bring them to the table here. And normally, Valkyrie, especially on Cafe, in areas like the bar and cocktail site where you can put one camera up in pillars and see almost everything, both sites and the pillars on the first floor. I mean, that's such a beneficial operator to bring to the table, provide you so much information that can be used to swing the angles at the right times and really just give you the upper hand in a lot of these engagements. But we're not seeing them from UNCC. We're not seeing those information operators. The information denial operators, yes, because Yeti has the mute, but not the information gaining. And that is why I think OSU seem to have their way with this most of the time. Obviously, that one not working out in their favor.
For sure. And I'm very excited to see this Goyo coming in for UNCC, as Goyo is an extremely strong operator, although I don't necessarily agree with using the Goyo shield inside of Pixel Bench, as if it does get taken out, it's going to be a very unhappy time for whoever's sitting there, but it is a shield nonetheless, and there are ADSs there. Actually, I don't agree with the placement even more now, as he has moved it up, so it's actually, I believe, out of the ADS's range, so if the Ash charge comes in, it will just remove the bench, Rogue possibly, and the ADS that's supposed to be guarding it if he hits it at the floor. So a little bit of a misplay coming out here, but we will see if it actually comes into play at all.
But with the 40 seconds burned, the hatches will finally start to get opened by the attackers going for that clear that we see so commonly. They're likely going to pressure on Piano, and already the Piano wall to red stairs is already going to be opened up, and it's Rogue, the one playing the pixel angle. He'll have to contend with this large force, no doubt, coming out very shortly. But with a minute burned, you usually like to see boots on the ground. You usually like to see the attacker starting to drop the hatch and pressure into Cigar. But what the Goyle shield is doing right now is delaying that push. They haven't even entered the building. And that is going to be quite a hindrance, especially with time already starting to tick away. We finally see the first two players drop. That's Big Boosh and Arno starting to take control. But Rogue is going to be aware of that, and he'll start to contend on this long angle. But Big Boosh will as well, pushing up towards the Piano, pressuring Pixel angle, and removing the Goyo shield from play.
Yeah, and really those Goyo shields dropping pretty early on, and I'm surprised that the Pixel Bench one's even still there, and as I say that, it gets taken down.
But we will see Big Boosh trying to go for a little bit of a cheeky angle into Cocktail, but Jabungus is the only one even remotely in that side of the map right now, and does not look like Jabungus wants to have anything to do with that angle, so it is just kind of a good old-fashioned standoff going on between them so far, and with the rest of UNCC actually hanging out inside of freezer or bathrooms. And Jabungus almost actually sees, I believe that's Big Boosh on that table, but nothing yet. And with 45 seconds left, got to start rolling into sight relatively soon. Or at the very least, start throwing out utility to try to bait people into peeking you. And as I say that, the first flashbangs of the take come out, but nothing so far. Will just be a bunch of Selmas deployed on freezer wall. And actually, Jabungus taking a little bit of damage, but not too much. And Kyle Pog will be sitting downstairs, and there's actually a pre-placed Nitro on that balcony, on that new hatch drop. And we will see if it actually pans out here, but it is just kind of hanging out there now. And the take starts to come into freezer as Apollo pushes in. He may get one here, but actually survives somehow by probably the skin of his teeth there. But Yeti gets one with the Nitro, TB with another, and Apollo making sure to clap back on it for his team. Apollo with the second, and RO with the third. Oh man, so many kills going down here. Rogue claps back though with a kill on Apollo, putting down his reign of terror of the round. And now he takes down another one on a combo. It is now a 1v1 situation with the Nomad actually air jabbing him back. And now it is a very desperate situation for him as he has actually going to flank around, I think, as there is 25 seconds left. He has to start doing a little bit of work now as he knows where the diffuser is. He does know that there is one. He does know that there's a high chance of him sitting on the balcony, as he does seem to have an inkling on an idea that he is staying out on a new balcony, and the Nitro does decide to come out. He will go for it. He will blow it, but nothing comes out of it. It's a distractionary measure as he swings, but will not be able to finish off that with a kill, and Arno will take down Rogue for another round for Ohio State University.
Well, what an excellent play, at least an attempt there from Rogue, but at the end of the day, he had to find 3 attackers in a post plant, and that is a lot easier said than done. Unfortunately for him, not able to complete it. Seemed that the attackers are no too strong for him to contend with. So with a 3-1 scoreline, even though they got hung up a little bit, their OSU continuing their reign of dominance here on Cafe, looking to continue that momentum as we head into round number 5. This time, Reading Room and Fireplace will be the site of choice rather than Mining and Fireplace. This makes me wonder if that initial pick was indeed a mistake, or they're really just trying to pull out every single site they can on Cafe, you really don't know.
Defenders, protect your
Yeah,
bombs.
definitely.
By
I'm happy to see that there is no fireplace mining to electric boogaloo. Definitely was one of the weirdest things I think I've seen so far this map, this match rather, other than the just 3 team kills we had in the first map. But happy to see they're going with a more standard site, as there is way stronger setups you can have for this side. Similar setup, but definitely way stronger in actually holding it, as you have kind of more space to play with. As
10 seconds.
the, I think, downfall of having that mining hold is that VIP is, or not VIP, excuse me,
Attackers are moving out to
trains is still a middle area that you have to either take to get into either of them, but it's way, way harder to take when all of the vertical play is kind of thrown out the window, because you can't, I don't think, actually shoot through the floor for fireplace. So your only option is to really go for that reading room, and the reading room is a very dynamic site in the way that you can open up a lot of those walls to make sure you have a lot of sight lines outside, and just kind of war wagon it a little bit, where you have a miniature fortress running inside of that. But I'm definitely going to be curious to see how they run it this time.
Well, yeah, and already we're seeing it unfold just a little bit here. The top-down hold, the extended hold from UNC is coming to fruition once again. That's going to be Jabungus on the Jaeger right now, assisted by the Mute. That's going to be TB, as well as Rogue, once again playing the pixel position, trying to hold the top control as long as possible, holding off this vertical play that will no doubt come out from the attackers in just a moment. But TB very safe here. Situated in freezer, the attackers have yet to make the pressure happen. Finally, the Capitao bolts will come out. Rogue will be forced off of his pixel position for the time being. And Arno now getting aggressive on that doorway in the way that we've seen OSU do before. But at any point, Rogue could actually pop the Vulcan, but it appears that Arno will do it himself and take about 50 damage for his trouble. It's a bit of an unfortunate mistake there when you have nades in your hand, but obviously not electing to use those nades now and hoping to save them for the vertical play. TB there, going to find one onto Arno, delivering the blow with the shotgun. And now they'll still be upstairs contending these angles, and Jabungus finds another. He'll get traded off as Apollo and Big Boosh clamp on down, and Big Boosh delivers the double kill onto Rogue. So now it is a 3 versus 2 with a minute to go, and top floor control is now safely, well, not quite safely, as Kyle will be pushing up very aggressively, and he'll come out on top. Big Boosh will fall, equalizing us to a 2v2, and making the attackers worry about this pressure just a little bit longer before the vertical angles can be developed.
Yeah, and really unfortunate timing there for, I think it was Jabungus, or actually I think Big Boosh on top of the cocktail table. The fall really making it awkward for him to try to actually get that refrag back. But nonetheless, it will end us at a net 3 for 3 on each side. So 25 seconds left. Definitely got to decide where they're going here. Diffuser does look like it wants to actually entry into reading room here, but 0-2 decides he wants to go into fireplace here. And fireplace is actually looking pretty free right now, but Kyle Pog and Yeti are here to actually play spoiler should they decide to peek it, as the entire floor is taken out. But oh no, the Diffuser doesn't know that Kyle Pog is on the flank over in pillars, and that will be a Diffuser dropping and probably securing another round for Ohio State University here. Or no, pardon me.
Backwards, I think. UNC,
Yeah.
UNC with a beautiful collapse onto site and absolutely a beautiful flank from Kyle Pog there. Really just destroying the Diffuser, dropping it down onto the floor and forcing, the ace to be left in a nearly impossible situation, especially when you're being suppressed by those wub-wubs from Malusi. So it appears that UNC have started to bring this one back. You love to see some competitive siege, and that is exactly what we are here for tonight. But now we're going back to kitchen and cooking. Now this is exactly where UNC were able to succeed the first time around. We saw a beautiful extended hold, a little bit of roam coming out from Kyle and Jabungus, and just a beautiful job at playing time and forcing the attackers to just take too long getting the pressure onto site. And eventually that worked in UNC's favor, as they were able to take a beautiful round win on kitchen. So obviously they're going to be looking to emulate some of that success and try to equalize us at 3-3, because at that point this could really go either way as we get into the second half.
Yeah, and really looking to equalize it is what UNC is looking for. Is if they can end this half 3-3, that's great news for them, as that puts them in a great position to actually get that starting side pick on that third map should it go to it. And definitely want to have that side pick first on that third map, as it gives you almost an unspeakable advantage in terms of comfort and just ability to really take a early lead in that third deciding map. And if they can actually get one more round, if they can get 4 rounds here, they actually, I think, secure themselves a side pick for the third round. So definitely looking to get 2 more rounds here at the very least, if not just take the map entirely.
Well, at the collegiate level, in my experience, I've seen Cafe play generally more defensive sided. Some teams, the really dominant ones, can just win all their defensive rounds if they know what they're doing. But it appears that tonight it seems it's going to be a little bit more balanced. But if OSU come to their defensive half on after this round concludes, with some really good strategies, I have no doubt that if they could absolutely run away with it if UNC are not careful. But Jabungus is going to do his best to slow that down, make me eat my words there a little bit. He's just going to take down Arno, and that is going to be the sledge, the vertical soft destruction off the table, and that is a huge pick. Not only taking out the breaching hammer, but taking out 2 nades that could be used in some very important situations.
Yeah, and I'm very, very curious to see what the repercussions of their roam going down this early on is gonna be. But Yeti gets a kill on the combo with Chabungus quickly following up with another onto Apollo. And oh man, that was a lot of just kind of sadness coming in for OSU there, as they had such a great even start to this round, and then immediately it just got it thrown in their faces, as it's going to be their Capitao and their Nomad going down, 2 operators, which are very, very unfortunate to lose very early on, as Nomad's air jabs really make it hard for defenders to actually get back onto site. Nitros are getting ripped all over the place, kind of scaring off the attackers there, making sure they don't get too aggressive inside a prep room. But oh man, is this going to be a rough time for OSU to actually get anything done here, as they got 50 seconds remaining and 4 people to go through.
Well, Jabungus is doing he's holding the same exact position that he was so successful in last time, but this time not exactly aware where the push is coming from. Big Boost gets bodied by a shotgun trying to push in from prep, and so does 0-2. Rogue delivering the headshot and taking us to a 3-3 tie going into the second half. Now, this match looks amazing, dude. I cannot believe we're at this point where these 2 teams going head to head, an absolute slugfest we predicted, and an absolute slugfest we have received.
Oh, for sure. And definitely one thing that is to note here is that Apollo was actually stepping up this time instead of Big Boosh, which is very, very crucial, as Big Boosh has not had as strong of a map as maybe he would have liked to have had, but definitely not as strong as a map that he had on his first map on Coastline. And definitely that another person stepping up on OSU is great to see. And also just the fact that UNCC is putting up at least a little bit of a fight here, despite it actually being their map, is definitely good to be contrary to the CEA curse, but also good for them in the way that just gives them so much more momentum going into this third map should it become a necessity.
Well, I mean, every single round, it looks like we're getting closer and closer to potentially having that decider. But like you said, because of UNC's pretty strong victory on Coastline, if this match is close, if we, take this into overtime, they will have their side choice on Villa. And because that map can be so defensive-sided, especially at this level, that could be a very strong advantage for them if they want to go into that map in that fashion. But we're not going to get too far ahead of ourselves. It's absolutely within UNC's power to, continue some of that late half momentum and get this attack going in a big, big way. But right now it appears that OSU, their first site of choice is going to be the kitchen site. And personally, Bonsai, I like this a lot better than going to mining first.
Yeah, for sure. Much, much better option to start off here. Just definitely a stronger site overall, but apparently I did receive word from Kyle Pog himself that mining first round is actually busted because most teams try to rush plant reading,
Uh-huh.
as they are not aware that maybe it's not the same room, so they try to rush into reading and then bait themselves into accidentally dropping the diffuser and making it awkward for everyone all around, trying to get that little bit of a fake out. But drones do exist, so I'm not sure if I agree with that logic, but
Well, if Kyle Pog said it, I mean, it must be true. I mean, it's got to be the case. I mean,
he told us the strat logic behind it, so clearly his strat logic must be sound. If he's making it a strat,
it's Kyle Pog. You can't question a man like Kyle Pog.
Oh yeah, Kyle Pog is just so Pog. It's just, how can you question a man that has so much Pog in his Pog?
Amen. And with a minute burnt in this round, we are going to see the top down clear. No surprise there. UNC doing a great job making this as efficient as possible. You try to get control of the top floor and that second floor. Takes about a minute to 2 minutes. Anywhere in that range is absolutely okay, as long as you're starting to get that vertical pressure going and you force the defenders on site to scramble around. If you're able to do that, it becomes a lot easier to open up some walls and get that final linear push going that is eventually, the execute that we talk about as being so essential. We do see the entire attacking team now generally bunched up here in dining and in trained for the time being. The C4 does come out but will not connect. The hatch into freezer now will be opened by that thermite charge from TB. So with a minute 15 to go, this one is starting to get more aggressive by the attack. All 10 players, though, are on the board. So it appears that last second push will be happening on this round for sure. Combo holding a very strong position in VIP, assisted by a deployable shield and some soft destruction to his right. He'll be contending with a crossfire, though, as we get a push down White Hall and from Brown Stairs behind him. And that's going to be Yeti and the players of Kyle Pog and Jabungus pressuring from the other side. And just like that, Kyle Pog will open us up, taking down Combo and getting this push ready to happen. But they're going to have to contend with the man himself, and that's Big Boosh.
Yeah, very interesting kind of hold he's having here, but I guess he does have the information from his teammate in 0-2 that there is no one actually coming from his backside, so he has to take this. So definitely a very aggressive angle that may pay dividends here, as Apollo gets one on a Yeti. Actually, I believe that was from Coates. Nice shots from him on the Maestro, but it will be Jabungus trying to clap back a little bit, but an amazing shot coming out of him on a Big Boosh, taking down the Jaeger behind the ballistic shield. Doc somehow getting out of this. I don't actually think it's a Doc. I think that's Kaid. But either way, he will be dropping deaths all around, letting the bodies hit the floor as OSU wins by time, as the plant just never went down.
Well, the freezer push came out, but the attackers just kept getting cut down one by one. So the OSU defense really looked strong there, especially in those closing seconds. But we take a look at the scoreboard here, and Apollo is really having a night. He's really changed it up from that first map. And right now, for UNC, Jabungus is kind of being shut down a little bit, and that has proven to be something that can be problematic for their attack or their defense. If you shut down Jabungus, you shut down this UNC momentum. But obviously, they're going to be trying to do their best, change up their attack a little bit, learn from their mistakes. But it's not going to be easy. Bar and Cocktail Site is a tough one to attack because of that pixel position can be so powerful. Taking piano control can take a while, and getting that plant down, especially with the Valkyrie on board from 0-2, which you love to see, it's going to be a challenge for UNC for sure.
Oh, for sure. And definitely with the lineup they have here, I do feel like they are just getting so close to actually getting to the end of the tunnel with that diffuse plant. It's just actually getting onto the site, that last little push to the exit of the tunnel is giving so much issue to this team. As we saw last round, they actually managed to get into the site. They just couldn't get the diffuse down because time just was not on their side. But if they can actually shore up that whole time management issue, I think that they can actually get these rounds rolling for them into this map and possibly give them an advantage that OSU couldn't recover from.
Well, OSU right now is indeed fighting for their CEA playoff lives right now. Because they lost that first map, they need to win this one. They need every single round they can get. And no doubt they were caught off guard here by the strong performance out of the gate by UNC. You know, the underdogs here, but proving that they are more than just the underdogs, that they are here to play. And so obviously that when the stakes increase for OSU a bit, seems that they are here to show up and here to really put up a fight. and make UNC work a bit harder for it. And as we are on the bar and cocktail site, we do see quite a freezer hold going out. A lot of defenders positioned in there for the time being. But the attackers now already gearing up, ready to go, opening the hatches and pressuring down onto the skylight, trying to find anyone that they can. But the first bit of this round, it's all going to be about drone work. We see TB and Rogue casting their drones down the new hats, trying to suss out the positions of the defenders. We do see 0-2 holding the oh so important pixel angle. He'll be assisted by a Valkyrie cam, probably one in piano, probably one in pillars, looking at all of the site. But already Jabungus and his teammates now working his way in towards Cigar. They have now control of new balcony, and with that LMG going to be pressuring on to Freezer right now, but now the pressure will be shifting towards Piano. The flashes come in to burn that utility, and now here comes the pressure. The Capital bolts will go out, forcing 0-2 to back off.
Yeah, and those firebolts really have been paying such huge dividends to this UNCC roster with just how much it's been displacing that pixel bench player every single time that they've tried to hold that area and making Cigar pretty much a free take. But Big Boosh is going to be the first one to hit out with some action here as he takes down Jabungus on New Balk. And it's just an unfortunate circumstance, to say the least, as you got Big Boosh. Jabungus actually getting taken down. That was kind of the key condition that we said to OSU to having their win condition for each round, is taking out Jabungus early enough on that he couldn't impact the round. And they have done that, but it is Apollo dropping on OSU's side to even things out.
And now that we are down to a minute to go, this attacking pressure is starting to mount, and the push looks like it could come out any second now. We do see Kyle Pog trying to burn some more utility, suss out the positions of the defenders, but right now all the defenders have moved back to a lot more passive angles over by Planks and in Cocktail and Deep in the freezer for the time being. So they are just waiting for the push. And without the info of where the defenders are positioned, UNC are a little bit wary of pushing into this site too early. We see the Toxic Babes go out in an attempt to delay, and that's going to work to stall just about 30 seconds off the clock. And now that we are down to about 20 seconds remaining, the push is going to end up coming in at the last possible moment. Rogue now pressuring on Whitehall, but now will join his teammates onto the freezer push. Kyle Pog pushing in. Big Boost finding one onto Yeti, but Kyle Pog will trade that out onto Arno, but Big Boost swings. Rogue finds one, but he trades it out right away. Big Boost with a 4K, and now the plant's going down. Big Boost is on for the ace. He's just got to find the planter, but Combo steals the ace with a melee kill onto TB, and OSU, another dominant performance. Big Boosh at the helm.
Yeah, Big Boosh again, just really starting to come back into the form he was in that first map, where he was just kind of laying down the law into UNCC. And really glad to see him getting back into it, as he really needs to start getting into that first map form we saw of just absolutely fragging out of his mind, as his team really needs this map here to continue on in their playoff series and their playoff run in general, as I'm pretty sure they definitely want those Corsair keyboards we were talking about earlier. And so definitely this is the first step for them to actually get towards that goal and making sure that they have at least a chance of getting into the round of 4. But we will see a clash in a castle coming out here.
Well,
That's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, the ultimate wombo combo of aerial denial. We have those castle barricades locking off the lines of sight, forcing that rogue to be deployed in those situations, opening those up, and Apollo as well on the clash. I'm always curious when I see a clash on the board of exactly how the defense is going to play it. Do you have clash simply as an information operator pushing up into different areas, trying to figure out where the defenders are? Or do you use them as more of a, a deployable shield in the fact that you can position Clash in a doorway and then just quick peek using, the see-through shield behind Clash to get some pretty nasty headshots? I've seen both done in the past. You can also see it used for aerial denial. Literally just stand in front of a door and block off the attackers from getting any chance of coming in that way. Because when you stare down a Clash, when she's zapping you with an annoying zap from the shield, there isn't a lot you can do all that easily. And it does appear that Apollo going to be positioned in piano to try to secure the vertical play, try to lock down this site, at least for the time being.
Yeah, and definitely My biggest thing is I want to see how this Clash works out, because Clash is one of those operators, especially when there is a Capital on the other side, kind of gets its usefulness shot into the dirt, as one firebolt is all it takes to really ruin a Clash's day, as her feet are not immune to fire. She does not have flame retardant boots, so she will still burn, but definitely there's at least a backup for Clash in case she does get dropped down pretty low. But oh dear, he has, oh no, that's not his back. That was the front of the shield actually facing Capital. That was confusing for me for a little bit. X-ray deceiving me. But the firebolt will probably come out here in pretty short order, as they want to get that Clash displaced as soon as possible. But Kyle Pog will be looking somewhere to throw these Ash charges, and right now they're just having so much issue with this Clash inside of Whitehall. Just absolutely no way to displace it as of now, as I guess they kind of got tired of just getting pushed off a pixel bench every time by the Capital. So like, you know what? We're gonna get a shield so big, not even you can get past it.
Well, it's working so far for the defense because they still have complete control of the top floor. If you can't take top floor, you cannot win this site. That is your win condition for the attack, and they have yet to make this happen. We see Kyle Pog here finally sending those breaching charges out onto the reinforced wall for some reason, trying to pressure out the castle. That's going to be 0-2, but he's playing so passive, but big boosh. He's not playing passive, he just sends it. He'll find one, but Jabungus trades it out. But little does Jabungus know, he'll have several more to contend with. Yeti will take down 0-2, that's the castle. So Fall, and now Clash, that's Apollo, finally forced to back off and head back downstairs. Combo delivering the kill onto Yeti, though, using those vertical angles, dropping Diffuser down, and that is going to burn quite a bit of time. With only 30 seconds remaining now, Rogue is going to have to find this Diffuser, and with his friend TB, going to have to push down pillars and get something going. But Combo doing his best to delay this as long as possible. And the delaying is working. We're down to 20 seconds to go, and the attackers are nowhere to be seen. Capital now in Red Hall, now pushing up onto the Clash. He'll find one onto onto Apollo, as we also saw TB, Fall, and Jabungus finally get taken out by Arno. It's a 1 versus 2, and Rogue didn't have a chance. Arno delivers the kill, and OSU delivers the round win in commanding fashion once again.
Yeah, and it's really looking like OSU is going to run away with this one, which is unfortunate for UNCC, as if OSU finishes out this map with this one final round, it's going to be a coin toss for who actually gets that third map start side. And definitely going to be curious to see if that, since this is actually going to Kitchen, if anything will actually switch up here. But right now, someone on UNCC's really got to step up here as the bona fide carry for their team right now, just to even get one more round to guarantee them side pick. But right now, it's looking like it's all OSU, and they're here to stay.
Yeah, OSU really hit another level of play right now. Not only are they looking a lot more coordinated, but they still are having a couple of players pop off here and there. Big Boosh doing some work. Arno putting in a lot of work on that last round as well. But pre-round, we talked about how the Clash would be utilized. And I gave you 3 possible situations, and we saw actually both, 2 situations come into play. We saw Clash both used as purely information denial because C4s rained from below while, you know, Clash was staring down the attackers because of that information that she could provide. In addition, she just was used to lock down Whitehall. And that worked for about, 2.5 minutes of the round. Now, that is far and away the sole reason that OSU were able to take that one. And not because no one else contributed, but because if there's only 30 seconds, 40 seconds left, and you finally just take control of the top floor as an attacker, unless you have a huge man advantage, there's no way you're going to be able to push on site unless you have some god tier play coming out from some of your players. And that is exactly what we saw. OSU just shut it down. They delayed, and that was clearly the bane of
No way
there. But Jabungus, hello? He sprays through the window at the doorway, and he'll find the headshot onto Combo. What a brutal shot there. I mean, I don't even know if he saw Combo. He was just pre-firing and found one. That is a massive opening kill. But now Valkyrie will do what she does best, and that is just sit on cams for the rest of the round.
Yeah, she is the Echo that doesn't have any Echo impact. It is just sit there, make sure the cams are hanging out, make sure that they're manned, make sure that they know, hey, there's someone coming through this area. As while she doesn't have the ability to stop a plant with a click of a button, she does have the ability to stop someone's life with a click of a button. As pre-placed Nitros and Valkyrie on this map are pretty much hand in hand, and we will see a push into pretty much a non-contested second floor. As I say that, it's Jabungus who just takes down RNO just with little to no resistance, and they already have the freezer hatch open, and Apollo on another one on the Yeti. It's the first clapback for his team, and he really needed it there, as it's getting dangerously close to a site take here for UNCC.
Well, what we've seen here from UNCC is a far and away improvement about their efficiency about taking control of the... We saw Jabungus find 2, no 3 early picks in this one, and that is a key, allowing their attack to really just send it onto site. Apollo, the Apollo show we're witnessing tonight, but Jabungus delivers the follow-up. This is 4 for Jabungus. He is on for the ace. He has only 1 more to find in a 3 versus 1. No doubt he's going to be hungry for that ace, hungry for that Kaid, but the plant will go down, and 0-2 will take down Rogue for the time being. So with 40 seconds left, well, now about 45 seconds left because we are in a post-plant situation. It's going to be 0-2 left to do all the work on his own. He'll toss a C4, could find 1 here, but it will not connect onto TB, going over his head. But now 0-2 working a flank onto Freezer, but shooting that drone will give away his position. Seems that Jabungus can't find the ace just yet, but he's still searching for it. Now 0-2 going back to the Freezer after not deciding where he could go. He'll vault in, he'll swing the angle. He knows there's one there. Pre-firing will not find him for now. He'll round the corner, try to find anyone, but TB will seal it out, taking down 0 and giving the round to UNCC.
Yeah, I think that's actually the second ace that's been denied Big Boosh this half. So close to getting that ace, that probably would be the ego boost he needs, but unfortunately for him, that will just be 2 4Ks. And unfortunately for UNCC, that will also be a round of the books for them. But
fortunately for them, I guess.
Yeah, I was going somewhere that was not that way. I think I was trying to say, unfortunately for Ohio State, that's going to be another one for UNCC, which is definitely makes more sense here. But more than that, that also means, unfortunately for OSU, that they now have no chance at side selection for that third map should they actually end this here.
Well, it's still match point. There's going to need to be 2 more rounds taken by UNCC if they're going to have any shot at this one. But what was so impressive on that last round, Bonsai, was the efficiency in what we saw UNC do. The first time they attacked this site, it was only about 50 seconds remaining, at which point they got control of the map and started opening the vertical angles. But this time, there was a minute 50 on the clock, where top floor was cleared, where second floor was cleared, and that is purely because there was very little resistance on the side of OSU. There was very little roam presence, not even a little bit of roam, not just gonna kill a couple drones, really just playing on site and just trying to play passive and just focus on the first floor defense. And while that usually can work out, it was Jabungus who just shut it down at every turn, really just showing that he is here to play as well. It's not just going to be the Apollo show or the Big Boost show tonight. He really wants to take his team here to the overtime, at least on this one.
Yeah, and definitely overtime is the move here for them, as that is their only chance of actually finishing out here with 2-0, which would be great for them. But unfortunately, it's looking like OSU is going to take this one. But obviously, there is obviously the chance that they do have the comeback in them. But they got 2 rounds to play with in terms of messing up for OSU. And UNCC only has 1. So just by sheer numbers, got a little more work to go in on UNCC. But I do think they're up to the task, as Jabungus has been just a monster for their team, and I really want to see him actually get a finishing touch to all of the work he's been putting in for his team so far. As the first map,
He was doing mad work, and he's doing mad work here, but he just unfortunately can't get like that crowning achievement of an ace. But definitely helping his team win these maps is more important. But this, oh, that's an interesting way to get that off. Unfortunately, that will be a very ineffective Electric Claw. But the site seems to be in danger now as the hatch is open and there's a rotate on the freezer wall. That was their last round as well. I don't want to be confused by that, but definitely looking like a same avenue of attack for UNCC this time as well.
Yes, neither team here really changing up their avenue whatsoever. All 5 defenders playing on the first floor, just waiting for the push, and the attackers doing an equally efficient job of taking map control and establishing the vertical play. We'll see Yeti here try to pressure down on towards VIP where they know Combo is playing because he's been there every single round. But now Jabungus will start to send it in, assisted by 1, and Kyle Pog will do it. He'll take down Combo. Once again, the Valkyrie will be the first to fall, relegated to the cameras. But now it's Jabungus swinging on a whiskey bar. There is one player to contend with. That is Big Boosh. This is a position that he has excelled very well in the past, but he's going to try to emulate some of that success. He's playing on a reverse deployable shield, trying to use that for information before he swings the angle, because Peeker's advantage can be so important at any point. He could just pop up and deliver the headshot. But right now, he will back off into kitchen. The flashes come out and the utility comes out as Kyle now pushes up into freezer. Rogue finds a nade kill onto Apollo from out of nowhere. Vertical play proving handy, but Big Boosh shuts down Kyle. Arno swings it, but gets shut down by Jabungus. Yeti delivers the headshot onto Big Boosh as well. So it's once again, it's all up to 0-2. He has so much work to do, but he finds 1. Only 3 more to find. Not impossible, but unlikely. And Jabungus shuts him down once again, delivering the final blow and getting us closer to a possible overtime, making this 6-5 still in favor of OSU.
Yeah, getting really, really close to that much desired overtime, and it would be heartbreaking for a UNCC if they were to lose it this close in a 7-5, just on the cusp of getting to overtime, but unfortunately not being able to do it. But Jabungus, my guy, he is putting in so much work. 15, 2, and 7 on him to try to drag his team kicking and screaming across the finish line. And really, he's just the one-man show, it seems, on his team as far as keeping him in these rounds. He is just walking through Ohio State, it seems, at some points.
Well, when we talk about these flashy players, from players like Jabungus, Apollo, and Big Boosh, I always like to shout out to the support players out there.
Oh, for sure.
Because these roamers and these entry fraggers simply cannot do their jobs without very powerful site anchors and attacker support players. Because if they're not doing their jobs, if they're not anchoring on site, knowing when to, challenge certain angles, knowing when to throw their drones out, get all that information, then no player can really afford to pop off. They have to stay on site, assist their team, and that is why I always like to throw a little word out to my support players out there, because their play is actually what enables the flashy players to do their job. And no doubt, Jabungus popping off, very much assisted by some strong play from the rest of his team.
Yeah, and as a support player myself, definitely gonna take the little self-pat on the back, as support players are kind of the unsung heroes when it comes to just the success of a team, as they're the ones kind of just sacking their own KD sometimes to make sure that the other people on the team can get the kills to actually get them across the finish line. And definitely in the case of like players like Arno, just being that hard stuck smoke main who is just not budging on smoke, and definitely holding those angles that are crucial for his team actually to even be in the position they're in now. Definitely shout out to all the support players out there.
Yeah, and already we do see the attacking pressure starting to mount, getting the boots on the ground, dropping in the top floor. 2:15 to go in the round, and that is exactly where you want to be if you're UNCC. This is a good checkpoint for you. You've got the boots on the ground, you've got the drone work going out, and you're starting to take control of Piano. The ADSs appear already to have been burned, as we see the smokes come out to assist this push. The drone's going to be taken out as well, but the Goyo shield will be popped, and that will force 0-2 to fall back. But we still have Apollo now playing on his Goyo shield in the bathroom using that soft destruction to get an angle towards Piano. This is an entire another shield that the attackers have to deal with, but deal with it swiftly. They did, popping that shield and forcing Apollo to once again fall back. But what we're seeing from OSU right now is very mature Siege. They're not challenging angles as aggressively as they were on that first map. They're backing off. They're playing extremely patient. And on a map like Cafe, where the pushes almost always come down to 20 seconds or less remaining, this is exactly what you want to see from a strong defense. And so far on this round in particular, they are looking very clinical.
Yeah, and that clinicality may be what gets them this last round, but it remains to be seen as just really strong start, but they need to actually keep that strong start going here, as while Apollo is brought down to about half HP, the very imminent danger is that flank from Big Boosh, as he's gonna get the Ash as he takes off the head of Kyle Pog. It will be one to drop for UNCC, but quickly traded back as Rogue takes down Apollo. And that'll be the Goyo down with Rogue actually inside Freezer. He's just going full send. Call him the UPS because he is always sending it. And he may actually get another kill on the Valkyrie with a nice pixel angle, but we'll get fragged back by Arno. 3v3 situation now as Sledge goes down to TB. So all of these kills dropping around, and it's really looking like it's going to be UNCC dragging it to overtime as Big Boosh is actually down for the count as in a down but out state. But oh man, combo gets one, combo gets two, double kill for him. It is now in a 1v1 situation, but does he know where he is? He does. As they now start to trade kills, he does get one, and he does have the pistol out, but it is not going to be enough as the time runs out for him, and OSU will take that final round to bring us to map 3.
What a beautiful defensive performance for OSU, playing it just perfect enough to run the attackers out of time and take a clean victory. We'll take a look at this scoreboard here, but I already know what we're going to see. It's Apollo and Big Boosh at the top of the OSU team, really leading their team to a decisive, well, not fully decisive, but a strong victory nonetheless on Cafe. And you know what, Bonsai? That is going to carry us into our decider map. And just a reminder for you all, that will be Villa. And, you know, Villa is a map we see so common in the collegiate and the T3 arena of Siege, but it is a competitive one. And I know these teams are going to be rearing to go. But we will take just a brief break before we get into our final map. But please don't go anywhere for the slugfest of a map. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna do my thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Here we are on map number 3 for this unbelievable matchup between UNC Charlotte and The Ohio State University Scarlet. This has been an absolute scrap fest tonight. It's been a great matchup, Bonsai, and I am so excited to see how Villa unfolds.
Yeah, for sure. And this third map's going to be the decider for everything, for all the marbles. It's going to be Villa with UNCC starting on defense, as they also got to pick which side they started on for this third map, as they did have the better round differential with their 7-3 map 1 win over the OSU map 2. I believe it was, I want to say 4 or 5. Yeah, 7-5. So they get to actually pick which side they start on, and UNCC is going to be kind of the team to watch here, as they really need to step things up. They had such a close second map after winning their first map. They're kind of dropped off a little bit, as it was a not even really close first map, and then they went into a very tight second map. But can they have that same level of performance they had on that first map going into Villa? And the first ban is going to be Thatcher. What a non-surprise.
You're absolutely right. That is the default ban on every single map in the competitive pool right now. And our second ban, that is not going to be a surprise either. Zofia has been banned all night. I guess OSU really does not like Zofia. Maybe they are aware. Yeah, it could be a target ban against a player on UNCC. That would be no surprise as well. But on Villa, roaming is so big because this map is gigantic, right? I mean, you can play in numerous locations on every single site that you could pick. And already I know that the roam and the roam clear is going to be something we are focusing on, at least in the casting booth here. We're going to be talking about that a lot. We're likely going to see the Nomad played all the time, using those air jabs to block off the flanks. In addition to a lot of flank drones being positioned, because that is so much why Villa, trends defensive sided at this level. When you work up your way to Pro League, it has finally become an actual pretty much 50-50 split now at the highest levels of Siege. But at the collegiate level, this is defensive sided without a doubt. So starting on the defense allows you to have a lot of momentum and use that, rounds you've gained, maybe keep that advantage if you can going into the second half.
Yeah, and really, this defender side is really, I think, what's going to actually decide the entire map, as defending, as you were saying, is such a map is not even trying to hide the fact it's defender sided. It is one of the hardest maps to actually get onto site, which really will play to UNCC style, I do think, as they are much more of a turtle team, as we've seen in the first two maps. So definitely curious to see how hard they lean into this turtle gameplay. And with the pickup of a castle, I feel like it's going to be super hard.
Well, it's an interesting switch from Vigil to Castle, because Vigil can be, the god tier roamer, knowing that he can, skirt around those drones, be essentially invisible to them. But the Castle pick will also help for area denial, lock off lines of sight, and positions that the attackers just will not be able to pressure into. He'll actually be opening up a rotate here from Master into Statuary. Now that is curious. I'm sure we'll talk about that in just a moment, but it's also important to note the extended hold that we're going to see. We already see Rogue setting up quite a few reinforcements, devoting quite a bit of utility over to the planes and games side of the map. Now this is also a very common defensive approach, because top floor clear is generally your approach on attack, whether you're in planes and games or you're in the split site. Generally, you want to clear the other side of the top floor, work your way over, position your flank drones and your air jabs as you go. And so that is no doubt why we are seeing that extended hold. But it's very important we talk about what Yeti has done here. I've seen this strategy before. It's not worked out when I've seen it, but it is viable to some extent. You put castle barricades on those small windows, you make a rotate into Master, and you play this very aggressively. And that allows you potentially to use a pocket reinforcement as well when you get forced out to close that up. But for now, Yeti really just sending it, and he'll challenge on the attackers rather, who are pressuring in closet and in Master window right now.
Yeah, really, I'm very curious to see if this strat works out. As you were saying, I have not seen it work out before. But, I mean, there is a first time for everything, as Yeti is getting very aggressive into that Master area, that little alcove. But so far, only Apollo's lost a little HP, but he is going to bank a nade off and almost kill Kyle Pog, but does actually down him this time around as he did take the Jaeger with the shotgun. While the shotgun is kind of OP on Jaeger, it is not OP if you are eating high explosive grenade shrapnel in all parts of your body. But, I mean, I may not be the subject matter expert on grenades, but I do think that will hurt you in the long run. And
Well,
we will
that's
see.
spot on.
Oh, yeah. But we will see. No one going to even make an attempt to go hit him yet, but with the smoke coming out, they do look like they want to actually jump in there pretty soon, and the Selmas do actually deploy onto the wall of Closet, making it so even a little bit of a chance to get Kyle Pog is now vanished, but they do pull back. Interesting choice, but they will start to take Master in its entirety now, actually doing normal push into Master, and Combo will be credited with that final takedown onto Kyle Pog, bringing it finally to the 4v5 it was.
With about a minute to go, we see that every single attacker is going with the one-directional approach of taking Master. All 5 are outside Master or in Master right now. Now, we'll talk about the success, whether this works or not after the round is over, but I do not like the way this attack is progressing. Making it so one-sided allows the defenders to know exactly where everyone is coming from. Yeti finds one, but Big Boosh will trade that out, keeping us in a man advantage for the attackers for the time being. Big Boosh now comes in through the bathroom. He'll have to challenge with a shotgun, no, but right now TB backing off, throwing those toxic fades, trying to cover himself and delay this push, but he'll have to contend with 2, and he cannot. Arno takes down TB, and OSU coming out with some serious thunder as we get into the last 15 seconds of this round. Yeti looks away at the last possible moment, but it doesn't matter. He'll get him anyway, but Combo and Big Boosh seal this round out, taking down Yeti and taking down Rogue, and OSU looking strong on this first attacking round.
Yeah, that was nearly heartbreak for the castle there, as he just barely looked away right as the peak came out. But will actually get the kill, and unfortunately for him, did not manage to finish anything else other than the rest of his teammates dying. But that will be the first round on the board for OSU, and I'm seeing a pattern here that OSU will always win the first round, regardless of kind of what map or what situation they're in. Also, I think has OSU been attacking every game, every map so far?
Well, if we think about Coastline, it was their pick. UNC chose defense, right? And then
OSU chose defense for Coastline. OSU started attack. Okay, so I'm not crazy. I'm just crazy.
But you are right that they have taken the first rounds in every single map so far, and it didn't work the first time, but the second time it worked just fine, and they're going to be looking to emulate some of that success. We do see Kyle Pog picking the Pog operator and going with Clash. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I expect Clash to be positioned in study, trying to deny that push as long as possible. But you really can rotate the Clash around as well, move her towards the Master side to prevent that horizontal take that we'll likely see from the attackers. But I do want to talk about the very one-directional push we saw from OSU on that last round. Every single attacker started out in bedroom. Usually, I'm not a fan of that. Usually, I like to see at least 2 different directions approaching site. Otherwise, you can't establish any crossfires, and it's going to be a real pain to get that pressure going onto astronomy rather, and get that pressure going. But OSU, they proved me wrong. They got a really good amount of pressure mounting on the Astro side. They pressured that the defender rather, out of that position very early on, and that allowed them to get a very decisive push up into sight. So that worked out for them, and they're going to be looking to try that once again, as the attack will be mounting from the Master side in an effort to do that top floor clear.
Yeah, and that top floor clear, I think, is just absolutely standard and necessary at the stage in the meta that we're in, where it's just you have to clear out as much of the map as possible. And with this Master push, definitely going to be starting off strong, but I'm not sure if I agree with the use of the Selma to actually get into Trophy, as, I mean, they definitely don't know that no one's in there, so it's definitely a good bait of utility at the very least from UNCC, but one thing I do want to actually take note of is that Jabungus is sitting inside of what I think is either Art Room or the middle of Red Hall, and he has very fiendish plan, it looks like, because he's starting to go on the flank right now. And if he gets this flank off, it could be absolutely devastating to Ohio State here.
Yeah, and what the master push in the last round did enable the attackers to not have to worry about the roam whatsoever. If you're just going to feed it in from one direction, nobody can come behind you because the only behind is a window or the outside of the map. But right now, if they're going to be taking from this side, going for the top floor clear, if they're not careful, a dastardly player like Jabungus himself, he could come up from below red stairs of Astro stairs and make something happen. The Nitro does come out, but I don't believe it will connect. He'll actually still have that Nitro in possession.
Yeah,
but
it's just if he threw it, it would have been disastrous.
Yeah, it could have been rough. All the attackers were stacked up in 90 Hall. And the info from the clash from Kyle Pog will allow Jabungus to be aware of that, but we don't see that push come out. We do see Clash pushing up to try to shock some of the remaining attackers who are now in 90. That's Combo and Apollo trying to pressure onto Vault. But what you said about using those Selma charges early on means you have fewer charges remaining to open up the walls in Study, open up the Vault wall, or potentially the wall in games after you get control of Classical Hall. But we are already down to 25 seconds, and this attack is nowhere to be found. Everyone's up on the board, all 10 operators still in play though, but the attacker's going to have to start coming out. The first Dokkaebi call comes out and 0-2 gets taken down. He'll be in down but not out. Rogue with a shotgun. He'll pepper some South down onto Big Boosh, and Big Boosh will get down. The Pokeball can't finish the kill, but Rogue will take down Apollo. Rogue finally gets credited with the Big Boosh kill, but Arno and Combo bite back right away. Kyle Pog answers once again. As the plant goes down, it's a 1 versus 3 though, as Dokkaebi is successful getting the plant down, and Kyle Pog with the SMG-11 advances, but TB takes the fight, and TB wins, taking down Arno and allowing the plant, the defuse rather, to be completed. They weren't aware, but they just got the notification because the down but not out stage concluded for 0-2, so they will get the defuse, and UNCC will equalize 1-1.
Yeah, that would have been really awkward if they just let the time tick away because they didn't know he was down but not out. As for those who are wondering, there is points turned off in this this league's settings, so you don't know when you actually destroy a gadget. You don't know when you down someone, and the only way that you know if you kill someone is obviously if you're looking at them and you get the little X mark that pops up. But as far as downs go, you don't know if someone gets down, so it's basically either watching for visual cues or hearing them scream as they get dropped. But it's definitely not an exact science, but it definitely makes it a little more of an uncertainty of principle, as we saw there, as they were kind of confused on if he was actually alive and able to actually mess with the plant, the attempted defuse. But we will actually see a castle getting turned into a Legion here for this trophy statuary hold.
Well, that is a pretty solid pick. You know, Legion provides those goo mines, allows you to not only be aware of where the attackers are coming from when they run over those mines, but also delay, force them to have to take it out of their foot, or that that kind of strategy. But I do want to take note of the Dokkaebi. We saw it last round. We didn't talk about it too much because there was so much going on. But the Dokkaebi pick on Villa, that is the biggest question mark I could ever write down, because that is not something you usually see. There are about 100 different operators that would be more effective in this situation, because all Dokkaebi does is allow you to ring the defenders and try to suss out their positions. If you're able to get a kill, then you can access the defender cams, and that could be huge if taken advantage of in the right situation. But why not bring someone like a Yana, who can do the exact same thing? Information acquisition, running into a position with that hologram, knowing where the defenders are in position. Not only can you use that in a simply information sense, but you can also refrag the drone, and the defenders can absolutely be caught off guard, and you can use that to your advantage. So big question mark there. It didn't work out the last time, but they're going to bring it again, and OSU are going to hope to find that traction with the Dokkaebi, but they already found one round. And that is a pretty big deal, because this map is so defensive sided at this level. Getting 2 round wins on attack is enough to consider it a successful half, especially when you transition into defense and can use that to really just run away with it from there.
Yeah, and to speak to your question about why not bringing Iana, I think it really comes down to the fact that Arno has been pretty much a hard support the entire time, and Iana really flexes more as a fragger operator, where the entire point of her drone is more to actually drone out herself rather than her teammates. And with the acquisition of the Dokubi over the Iana, you have so much more utility to actually flex for the rest of your team. For people like Big Boosh and Apollo who are putting down mad frags for their teams. And so you don't actually have to entry into the site. You can just set your teammates up with those sound cues that allows them to go flex their aim, which from what I can gather is actually better. And just having that flexibility to sit back with the DMR and also just enable your teammates around you. I think that's really what's driving the Dokubi over the Iana here.
Well, that is an absolutely valid point, but you know, I will happily agree to disagree with you on that one. But obviously, Arno thinking more like you in this case, trying to go with that Dokubi, help his teammates out, trying to push into those positions. But right now, with a minute to go, the attacking pressure is mounting once again from the bedroom side. One-dimensional approach, but so far they forced the defenders rather to back up all the way into Trophy, into Astro, or completely off of sight. We do see Rogue over in 90 Hall just waiting for his opportunity to pounce on a push that comes out from another direction, but Combo with the first kill onto his own team, and Rogue following it up right away. Kyle Pog as well will cut down Big Boosh. Yeti cuts down Combo, and it's all up to Arno, but he can't do it. Jabungus shuts him down, and that was brilliant team play from UNC to take another defensive win that they're going to need to start racking up.
Yeah, and wrap up is what they need to do, as they really probably want to get this game over with. As best of threes, as a former player, I can attest to them being absolutely exhausting. It is a long ordeal having to have these long matches where you're just basically at 110% the entire time, and it's kind of like similar to driving almost, where it's like you just have so much brain activity going on and so much focus that you're just mentally exhausted by the end of it. Like, I guarantee you, after these players finished this, they all passed out. They all just they turned off the brain, probably went and watched YouTube or something after this. They were in a state of basically comatose after this game, I can almost guarantee you, because this is an intense best of 3 too, which makes it even more exhausting. But the pulse pickup.
So far, we've seen some great play, and I don't know what you're talking about. They did it in the past. Speaking in the past tense, what are you talking about? This is just a live matchup we're casting right now, Bonsai. Yes, you did mention the pulse pick that is in play, and that is no surprise because vertical play is king on this site. And as such, check the utility brought from the defenders. Mozzie, Valkyrie, Mute, and Pulse all have a C4. And I am certain that Yeti is going to be looking up through the floor below, trying to suss out the positions of the attackers as they try to open the vertical angles and use the soft pings to let his teammates know where to throw those C4s. And this could get catastrophic for the attackers, but they do have the IQ. They know that Pulse is a very common operator played on this tertiary bomb site, so they're going to be looking to counter that right off the bat.
Yeah, and really, I'm curious to see how the Iana comes out, as now that we were talking about it, it has now materialized in front of us. And I was actually getting a little bit of a backsass from our observer here, or the observer of this match, Keldev, where he thinks that Iana is better than Dokubi for pretty much the express purpose of frag grenades only, as frag grenades, as I think everyone in Siege can attest to, are being overpowered, but that will be an early kill with the Nitro Cell coming out for TB, putting down Arno. That is the IQ gone, which, with the IQ gone, that is a very strong operator to take out here.
Well, especially when the next, minute of the round, I can only say it's going to be a lot of C4s coming from below as Yeti continues to figure out where the attackers are positioned. And now Kyle is lurking with him, waiting for the call to toss a C4. But I do like your point about the Iana with those frag grenades in this utility consumption simulator meta we find ourselves in. Frag grenades do reign supreme. And that is exactly why Combo is rocking the Iana, not only for that information, but for those frag grenades. The vertical play, though, it's coming out from Apollo. That's not being denied by the Pulse as of yet. They are aware of the Nomad's position, but the C4 is not coming out so far. They know that he's a bit far off the mark, but right now they're just relaying that information to the roamers, and that's going to be Jabungus, who's flirting with main stairs a bit, and an engagement might as well come to fruition here with a big boosh, but Jabungus gonna back off.
Yeah, Jabunga's backing off here, I think, is what's going to allow OSU to get back kind of a state of normalcy here, as they have been in a very, very frantic state of being, as they have been getting pushed hard by the utility of UNCC here, as they've just been throwing nitros all over the place, and it's been taking its toll on both Arno's life and Apollo's HP bar, as Apollo's actually been dropped really, really low, but the Selma does look like it's going to go off on the wall, with Jabungus actually getting a kill on a big boosh, but will quickly fall back down to Apollo, and it is just back and forth frags for both of these teams, making it such an exciting match to watch. But the Nitro Cell will go out over the wall, but will not make it over the wall, and it will just simply explode in their faces. But that is not to say that it didn't do no damage, as Rogue gets a nice kill onto Apollo, making sure that Jabungus is avenged. And now we're just in a weird, or pardon me, it is just even worse now, as just kills falling all around. Combo is just in sight. He does not care at all. And Iana, that is not the clone. That is the real one. That is a 1v1 now. And it is just, time is ticking by, and it does not look like Combo is going to be able to actually get the plant down, as he is, I guess, hiding from the remaining member. And that will be UNCC winning round 4, bringing us to a 3-1 match score.
Well, that was a great play by both teams, but it was UNC who prevailed. OSU not able to beat that 11th man, and that's going to be the clock. We saw the Yana struggle to make that push into sight at the last few seconds. She was able to find one, but time was the bane of her existence there. You got to give it up to the early vertical play we saw from Yeti. He did exactly what we expected, using that heartbeat sensor to look up into master bedroom, and they were not only able to find one pick, but were able to take the attackers down to very low HP. We do see the clash pick once again from Kyle as we head back to Aviator and Games, Planes and Games, a site that generally goes in the favor of the defenders on this at this level of siege.
And do want to give a quick shout out to the people coming over from SCS Championship. Welcome, welcome. This is the best of 8, or round of 8 rather. Not a best of 8. We would be here all night. It's a best of 3 between University of North Carolina Charlotte versus the Ohio State University. This is map 3 of the quarterfinals of the Open League playoffs, and it is a 1-1 match score right now, with currently UNCC up 3-1 in map being Villa, the decider map. And happy to have y'all here, and hope you're gonna enjoy the cast for what it is, and also the gameplay, as that's way more important than what we have to say. But I am very, very, very scared for this OSU roster with the amount of nitros in play for UNCC, as the nitros have been the bane of Ohio State University's existence so far on this map.
You're absolutely right. We are going to see the push from OSU once again, likely mounting from the master bedroom side, going for that top clear. But what we don't see from UNC this time is any utility devoted, well, not a ton of utility devoted to the master side. We do see some reinforcements, a couple ADSs, but really it looks like Jabungus and TB are going to play this a bit more passively, just, there to kill a couple of drones and play time, not going to overstay their welcome. And that is so important on a map like Villa. You really have a couple of options. You can aggressively do an extended hold, or just play time, because especially on some of these sites that at this collegiate level can prove so defensive sided, using that 11th man to your advantage can be huge.
Yeah, and time really is that 11th man, as it's been proven to be a fickle mistress, as it has plagued both of these teams. They have had both of these teams have had rounds is absolutely lost to time. UNCC seems to be more of a benefactor of that time, just kind of running down on OSU, and it's just they really need to work on how they're actually going to get into these sites, as the actual site game for OSU hasn't seemed to be too much of a problem, but it's also just keeping that site in general, as it's just such a strong showing out of people like Jabungus here, who are just running through over and over again. Just all of these strong players for Ohio State, and it doesn't seem like Ohio State has a kind of response to this, as now there are 3 people getting held up by a clash here. The air jab does go down, which will force Kyle Blog to hang back a little bit, so he doesn't just throw his life away. But Jabungus with the nitro on the big boosh, that is the man you definitely want to be taking down with that. and just taking down that Ash so early on, especially Big Boosh. It's been a strong entry for Ohio State, taken down early on, making it very dangerous for Ohio State from here on out.
Well, this is exactly the same play from UNCC that we saw before. It's Kyle Pog on the Clash, denying the 90 push as long as possible. This time, we saw the C4 connect. Last time, we never saw that connect from the roaming Jabungus, but this time it proved so clutch. But we do see now Arno working up his way towards the Plains door here, and in conjunction with Apollo, they're going to be looking to pressure this as no defenders are in the site at all or in Vault. The only remaining defenders on site are Yeti and Kyle, but Apollo and Combo will deliver some kills and take down Jabungus and Rogue, and now the plant will go down in the default spot as Yeti delivers a kill onto Apollo, equalizing us at 3 versus 3. But now it is a post-plant situation, and Yeti wielding the Alda. Going to have to find several, but TB gets overly aggressive, and he'll pay the price. The DMR of Arno proving so powerful, but Kyle Pog, the Clash, is dancing in the hallway with Combo, but Combo will prevail. Yeti finds the headshot onto Arno, might tease a defuse here. He is going for it, but Combo does hear it, starts to push in, looks around the corner, and finds the kill. Combo for OSU, delivering the kill onto the player of UNC, taking the round in their favor, and that is a very strong attacking round for Ohio State.
Yeah, like I applaud the just absolute mad lad level stick on that defuse from Maestro, but it was just one of those situations where I think you should have just baited the defuse, as if you hold it for a little bit too long, as we saw there, he did actually get pushed on. He had plenty of time, I think, to actually just fake it and try to bait that person in statue, or in boss, just to actually peek him and then take him down. And then it was a 1v1 situation, which I think the last person was over on like classic 90 or something. So definitely, if he had just baited and got that kill, I think he could have gotten away with that round there. But nonetheless, it will be Ohio State getting their second round on the board. And also a swap out of the Dokkaebi here, which is an interesting thing to do. But he has been swapping between IQ and Dokkaebi throughout this match. So I'm not in the least bit surprised that he's going back to the IQ here, as while he did die pretty early on in the first round that he actually played it, I believe, not first round, but two rounds ago, he died to a Nitro, I believe. Definitely not surprised to see it come back out, as they are going back to statuary here, and IQ thrives for this site, vertically speaking.
Yes, you can go below and take out all of those gadgets that could be positioned anywhere on site. But I really want to point out the absolute myriad of operators we're seeing here tonight. We've seen Dokkaebi and Clash. Not the most normal thing on a map like Villa, where you usually go with your traditional lineup. Maybe you bring more than one hard breach, but it appears that right now OSU just sticking with one hard breach, not bothering to bring a Habana, a Maverick, or a Thermite, of anything of that sort. So far, though, it's working out for them. They've got the 2 rounds they need. A round here would just be a bonus and would allow them to go into their defensive half with extreme confidence, because a 3-3 tie on a map like Villa is a massive position to be in if you start on attack. But for UNC here, this is not where they want to be. They absolutely need this round if they want to have a fighting chance to take this map, at least keep us going tonight. But right now, the push starting to mount as we get about 40 seconds burned in this one.
Yeah, and really just 3-3, definitely not the half you want to be having as a defender start on this map, as it will actually be an early death to Kyle Pog. He's going to drop early on here to Apollo. And Mute, while definitely not one of the operators you care too much losing around about losing early in the round, because all of his utilities already been deployed for the most part, definitely still a body down, which is going to hurt them in the long run, and not looking like a great start here for UNCC to get that 4-2 half they so much want.
What UNCC have struggled to do on Trophy and Statuary is lock down Astronomy. They're allowing the push to come in from Bathroom without being hindered whatsoever, and as such, they've been able to, the attackers rather, have been able to take complete control of Trophy because the rotates are already open, the soft destruction's already there, and using that push into Astro, pushing that smoke out at such an early time, that's really enabled the attackers to just have their way with this one, and that's why they've been so successful on this one before. But this time, UNC have it on their minds to stop the push in their tracks. We see the Toxic Babes being deployed to slow down that push, but he's going to have to back off right now. The shots come out from the doorway, not having no idea where those are coming from. That's TB. he's going to get taken down to very low HP, like less than 1 it seems like, for his mistake there. And now the IQ coming below, still going to try to get that vertical play. But TB now with 1 HP, that's not the position you want your smoke to be in when he's supposed to be denying that plant.
Yeah, no, his HP bar is pretty much invisible at this point in time, and he will drop down below. Unfortunately, that will be IQ downstairs, who will absolutely remove him from the map. Despite that being 1 HP, that was a hard flick he had to get that off on. And it will be Rogue actually getting back to avenge his teammate here, making sure that at least one person falls in response, making it a 4v3 instead of a 5v3. Which could have been absolutely tragic, but now we have the execute coming in from OSU. All of these Wamaidics have been doing work, but it's not enough to save the lives of Rogue or Big Boosh here, as Yeti is soon to fall afterwards, and now it is a 3v1 with Jabungus man left alive, and he is the man to do it as one pushes in. Oh man, nearly misses the head of Nomad, but the plant is going down. He will go prone, and I don't know if he's going to know if it's the prone. He does actually get Nomad blocked by the hollow sight, and it will actually be another round for Ohio State University here. Great plays coming out of this roster on this side of the map, and it's going to give them that 3-3 half they so much deserve.
Well, this is huge for Ohio State. This is such a power position to be in after your attacking half. And what we just saw there, you never expect the player to be prone around the angle. Like my friend Steph always says, that long angle prone, when you swing it, there's no shot. You're going to look straight down at the floor. You're always aiming for those heads. And that is obviously why we saw that fight go in such in favor of the Nomad there. It was a tough situation for Jabungus, a 1v3. We know he's done it before, but this time he could not make it happen. But now UNCC, they are going to need to do something crazy on this attack. They're going to have to muster one of their strongest attacks they've ever done, because as this map has proven to be so defensive-sided before, they are going to just have to put something incredible together to force this OSU defense to move onto the back foot, shake their confidence a little bit, and shift up the momentum to force this one further into the night. But it looks like OSU are in a position where they could run away with this if UNC are not careful.
Yeah, I think my brain just broke a little bit.
We're having a Monty come into it right here. We have a Monty on the playing field, an operator we have seen seldom in any of the leagues, invite or open, and I am very curious to see how they're going to use this operator, as Monty is one of those operators where he is literally just a walking wall of steel, where he is kind of that third drone for his team, where you can just kind of send a Monty in a direction and say, like, go that way, and just get so much information, because he is a walking bulletproof shield, and he can just get so much information without risking too much, as long as he's not exposing his back to a possible flank or peek from the enemy team. And just overall a strong operator in that regard, but he does have a very high fail percentage in that regard, as he does still fall victim to the fancy thing known as a nitro cell. And just based off of how nitros have been playing a factor in this match as a whole, it's very scary to see how quickly this Monty's going to go down to these nitros in the event they come out.
Well, Monty is very hit or miss.
Yeah.
If you have a player who knows what they're doing and you have really good coordination on an attack, Monty can be extremely good. You know, there are certain players that get target banned at high levels of Siege just because they're really good on shields. And a player that's really good on a shield is almost impossible to deal with. But at the amateur levels of Siege, when you have a Monty who doesn't know what they're doing, it can be very dangerous.
Standoff.
The standoff ensues. It's Clash versus Monty, just sitting behind bulletproof glass, staring each other in the eye. But it's Jabungus trying to support that, and the Clash will also be supported by a player playing down in Classical Hall as well. Yeti going to take a bit of damage, I believe, yeah, as you said, from the drone hole in Vault. That's going to be a problem for him, but Rogue is doing his best to try to force this Clash away. Cooking the nade, going to toss it out. Actually, just going to bait it for the time being, because Clash could be caught out by this nade if they're not careful. But as we see here, Yeti seems to be struggling a little bit. That's not the position you want your Monty to be in. Jabungus takes a bit of damage. I believe that is from the bedroom. He's being contested there a little bit. Kyle Pog opens us up with a kill onto Big Boosh. So that's a good start for the attack. The flashes come in to burn that utility. The diffuser will be in the possession of Kyle Pog. The plant seems like it's about to come out, but the Toxic Babes will delay. And with a minute to go, the push from the attack is no doubt about to come.
Yeah, and Kyle Pog is actually going to take a little bit. I take back a lot of bit of damage through that wall from the Toxic Babe. As Toxic Babes, despite this being, oh dear,
Oh dear!
You thought that was going to be the other way around, didn't you? But it's actually going to be Arno taking down Rogue's Maverick through the almost too perfect to be true hole in the vault wall. But it does look like Kyle Pog will not be pogging any longer as he drops to that Toxic Babe and will die to that Toxic Babe. That wall propagation just being absolutely insane as Jabungus quickly frags back for a kill on to Arno. But Jabungus with another one now on to 0-2, making it so this team has a fighting chance of getting this plant in. And it will be Combo also dropping to TB with the Bearing 9 of all guns being the one that kills him. Very interesting gun to die to, as you don't really see it used too much, but Apollo is the last one alive, and he is the Clash, so he will be having a wonderful time, as it is the Monty trying to toss him down. He does do a 360. Oh my goodness, he gets the 360 shots off. The dance proves to be true, but now he still has 2 people to go through and 18 seconds to defuse, and the defuse does take about 7 seconds to defuse, so he has to do something here, and he just is gonna try to get these last 2 people, but will fail in it as he does take down Jabungus, but Jabungus at the same time takes him down, securing another round for UNCC.
Well, that was almost an impossible situation for the Clash. Not only was it a clash of all operators in a post-plant versus 3, but one of those 3 was a Monty. And the epic 360 we saw, it did prevail over the Monty. Monty did get taken down. That was Yeti, who wasn't able to succeed. But there were a lot of tomfoolery, to say the least, happened that round. A couple of shield stare downs, which is not something you always see, especially on Villa with these picks. But you got to give it up to Yeti using the Montaigne very well. Like we said, it's very hit or miss, but it appears in this case, it was definitely a hit for the attack. That is going to be a successful attacking round on planes and games. This is exactly what UNC need to do. And this could be proving that maybe tonight, Villa is not at all defensive-sided already. The attackers have won more rounds on Villa than the defenders have.
Yeah, and that might also just speak volumes to how these teams have prepared coming into this map, as Villa is one of those maps that also requires a lot of kind of playbook depth to actually get done properly, as you really got to know where you need to actually attack these sites from and apply the pressure points. As if you have the right pressure points, as we've been seeing, like with all these plays coming in from Vault with the Maverick, although it didn't really pay off for Maverick that time, like we haven't actually seen anyone go from this kind of like stereotypical regular kind of site take, which is from like study balcony into study, and instead it's always been coming from this master side of the map, which just speaks volumes to like how these teams actually want to take the site. They want to clear out that entire north side of the map to make sure that no one's going to come from them on a flank, at least in any fashionable amount of time. But it's all coming down to like these very, very late round plants and just post plant scenarios, it seems, where just one team either has a man advantage going into it, or just one player pops off really hard to get the actual dub that their team wants.
Yeah, but as much as you give it up to that push in those last few seconds, we saw brilliant work from UNCC pushing in from the master side, like you said, taking map control. And that is so important on this map simply because it can be so important to deal with those roamers. But what we don't see right now, at least from the OSU side of things, is any roamers whatsoever. And because of that, this could be a very efficient take from UNCC if they do not, worry about those flanks too much, because Big Boosh, generally the roamer of choice, he's positioned up in landing right now and is not downstairs or off site for the time being.
Yeah, and oh man, Jabungus actually almost sees, he does see one, but will not actually be able to finish it off as he gets taken down by Big Boosh. Just absolute filth coming out of him, but a Big Boosh will limp away with low HP on him, and it is just unfortunate timing for Jabungus there, as you don't really expect someone to be chilling out there that early in the round, but it will just be one falling so far. But it is the Nomad, so it is kind of an unfortunate thing to drop early on, as now that there's a guarantee of no Nomad air jabs being placed on the map, they now have that much less flank protection. from someone like maybe Arno or Big Boosh if he decides to actually go around to the other side of the map. And now we see Yeti trying to get through some barbed wire over and bust, trying to see if he can get any kind of early play into that vault plant area. But Rogue is going back towards this vault wall, which he did not prove to be a good idea for him last time around as he got removed by Arno. But Arno seems to be playing a little bit of a different setup right now as they are starting to burn the magnets of Wamai to try to get into sight. And it's Kyle Pog also trying to displace that one man inside a study, but the Toxic Babe will come out to prevent them from actually getting inside of games. And so far, no other actions have happened other than that initial call onto Jawungas.
Yes, and Yeti once again leading that push in, but as you said, the Toxic Babes are shutting it down for now. Nade coming out from Rogue into Vault. Can it find the player prone in there? Not right now. It appears that Combo still using that drone hole to try to find the feet, but look at the attackers. They have no idea where to go. They're running back and forth, trying to figure out where they should push into, but 20 seconds left. And the push will come through planes. The smoke, the Toxic Babe comes out, but they sneak through to God, try to get the plant down. Apollo delivers the headshot onto Kyle Pog, but now Yeti is blocking off the defenders and giving that information to his team. 0-2 gets a double kill, but TB is now left alone in a 1 versus 5. The retake is going to come out, and there it is. The defenders win round number 8. The plant was denied. It never went down because of a beautiful double kill from 0-2.
Yeah, and that double kill was really what allowed them to get anything done at the end there. As if Monty had been sitting there with a rock in the middle of that doorway, there would have been just no chance of those two getting back to site anytime soon, or at least in any kind of safe fashion, as Monty just sitting in the doorway cut off so many sightlines into the actual plant side, as the easiest way to actually take out that planter would have been to shoot through that door onto the default plant, and with Monty there, it was just no shot happening. But somehow 0-2 just pulling out for his team, getting rid of that Monty so that their team has a fighting chance of stopping that defuse, and it allowed them to actually even it up. But I do want to give a quick shout out to just how well this OSU roster has been playing, despite not the greatest start to this match on a Coastline, and also just barely squeaking it out on a Cafe.
Well, what really was the key of that round was how passive the defenders played. It was 20 seconds left. All 5 defenders are still remaining. Even though they knew the push was coming in from the attack, they let it happen. Yes, the smoke grenades did go out, the smoke canisters, but all 5 defenders remained passive, waiting for the push to come in, and then the call went out and the retake ensued. And it was a decisive retake, to say the least. We saw 0-2 get a couple, and the push from Study came in as well. And the big mistake from Yeti was pushing up all the way to Study door to block the door if he could, when in fact his back was completely exposed to the players in Vault, and the players using the rotate hole created onto the game's site as well. So it's like an unfortunate mistake from Yeti there, but really the credit goes to OSU for brilliantly deciding to play retake rather than forcing to challenge angles when they did not need to.
Yeah, and actually what I do like to see here is that we are adapting here for UNCC, as they have decided to actually take out the Iana here as well, which just so much more, I think, utility in general rather than the Maverick they were taking, as Maverick is a great operator for getting walls opened, as he has a very easy those bottles falling off my desk. He very easy a very easy operator to actually use in terms of his gadget and getting all of those electrical gadget denials, such as bandit charges or Kaid charges, off those walls. But with the Iana, especially on a site like Statuary Trophy, the frag grenades, I feel, are king here, as it just allows you to be way more aggressive. And also the Gemini clone, with its pretty much infinite recharge, you can just kind of sit back and run it down and pretty much get the lay of the land without actually having to risking yourself.
Well, and that is why we do see the Yana pick over someone like Dokkaebi, this debate that we had in the last round. But once again, we do see Yeti working on the Monty. He's already aggressed up into sight, pressuring towards the astronomy stairs right now. But we also have Big Boosh on the roam. This could be a problem if Jabungus and Yeti are not fully aware of this, because right now all the attackers are downstairs and could easily get caught out by some good play from the Jaeger. Again, engagement could happen here, but just narrowly avoided as Jabungus sneaks over into kitchen, dodging the sightline of Big Boosh. But I suspect this engagement could happen in any moment. But right now, everyone's still on the board. With a minute remaining, the difference in pushes we've seen here from UNC is quite a stark contrast from what OSU were mustering. We see only 2 attackers pressuring in Master, and the rest going for some little bit of vertical play from below and maybe a take up Astronomy stairs. Toxic Babes go out to delay that for now, and the first frag of the round comes out. Kyle Pog delivering the headshot onto the roamer of Big Boosh.
Yeah, and Big Boosh getting taken out early is disastrous for OSU, but it's quick to be Apollo to actually take down a Kyle Pog with that Ash getting taken down. And that is just great news for them, as now they have not only evened that out, but also taken out the Ash, which just means so much more for their defensive side. But it is Rogue, not the clone, that's actually going to be peeking, and it's going to be Apollo to drop, so avenged by his teammate. TB quick to fall on another quick one onto 0-2. But the Monty might be the next to fall here as the Nitro comes up, but will not actually kill him. And another one drops for OSU, but Arno trying to do his best to actually make sure that his team stays in it as he gets one, but it's a 1v3. And now he's getting engaged from that Master side. The diffuser goes down, and now he's getting peeked again from that same person inside of Master. Oh, he saw him, but did not have the timing to peek him. And now it's going to be Monty sitting inside that trophy or statuary doorway to make sure that he can't go that way. Now he has to go around the other side. And with 75, just under 75 HP left, I don't know if he has the time or the HP to pull this off, and it will be Rogue putting him down 6 feet under to end out round 9 in favor of UNCC.
What is this game we're seeing tonight? The attackers really know what they're doing. Did we just see the Wamai man take the nade out of her hand?
Yeah, just out of his hand. You can
Yoink.
throw it, just immediately went back.
Well, like I was saying, brilliant attack once again from UNCC, forcing OSU to try the same site again. This really feels like we're going to be headed deep into the rounds, deep into overtime, possibly all the way to round 15. But UNCC, they're going to try to make me regret saying that. They are going to try to take this one early. If they can muster a very similar attack to what they just performed, I mean, OSU are going to have to pull something crazy to stop it. It was a decisive attack. They pushed in at perfect timing. They had really good coordination, and they just took out the defenders one by one. We saw a couple of refrags there, but it really didn't matter in the end. The attackers did prevail. The Yana has proved pretty effective so far for both attacking squads, I gotta say. But this time, it'll be Rogue not opting for the 6 pick on the Yana, and he will stick with the Sledge for now.
Yeah, and this is probably the most dedicated I've ever seen to a team of just to take Monty this many times. They have taken it every attacking round, it seems, and it's been working for them. That's the thing that's kind of also baffling, is that the Monty's working. Monty is one of those operators that's very, very hit or miss, as we were talking about, but so far it is only hit for this UNCC team, and it's just honestly incredible to see go down. But we will see Rogue hopping off of the Ayana onto the Sledge that he is more accustomed to, and more accustomed we have seen him playing on this match, as he, I think, played it all of map 1 and all of map 2. Hopefully he doesn't have the same incident he had on the first map, where kind of did a little bit of a nade team kill, a little bit of a blue on blue incident. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, he did still manage to get that first round win. And if he can keep on going and putting down pressure, it looks like it may be another UNCC win.
And what we're seeing here from Big Boosh is a little bit of a roam once again. The first time they tried this site, they did have last round, they did have a little bit of round play, but oh my gosh, Arno catching Kyle completely unaware. What is Arno doing down there? That's definitely what Kyle is saying right now. But it is unfortunate the drone work didn't come out, or, you know, maybe the gunplay just wasn't there for Kyle. The Ash taking out so early on, that is a big problem. And right there, that is a waste of a C4, and Rogue just punishes Arno for it, delivers the kill, and that will equalize and not be too much of a problem. But you're losing an Ash. You're losing the absolute queen of the utility consumption simulator meta we find ourselves in. And that could prove extremely problematic because Big Boosh is on Jaeger and Apollo is on Wamai, the kings of soaking up that utility. So we'll soon see that play out. but right now it seems a very similar take is in order, with Rogue and Yeti coming from below, looking to put some pressure on Astro Stairs, while TB on the Hibana is focused on Master.
Yeah, and definitely I think these deaths are not equal in the slightest, as it has been Mute versus an Ashe, and Ashe is obviously, as we all know, one of those operators where her hitbox is pretty much non-existent, but it seems her hitbox has enlarged here, as it has been just Kyle Plog not having the success I think he wants to see himself have on this Ashe, dying pretty early on all the rounds he's played it so far, but just unfortunate timing, I think, there. Does not expecting that one person in the basement he's gonna pay his life for that sin, but definitely still doable for this UNCC team, as they still have all of their hard breach, all of their kind of utility gaining operators in that IQ and the Yeti Monty. But I'm very, very curious to see how they're actually gonna get this wall off, as so far the wall is still standing stalwart. As actually, right as I say that, they take the Kaid off the wall, but Kaid seems content to just try to throw the Nitro, get something out of it, but will get a nothing out of it. And now we have a wall take coming in, as Jabungus is actually the first to drop from that the same hole that he actually, I think, blew open. And unfortunately for him, that will be him dying. And now we have Monty pushing very aggressively into Observatory, but nothing's gonna actually come out of that, as well, as it's only just kills coming in the favor of UNCC. And now Combo and Big Boosh have a massive job on their shoulders to actually push back in here, but Combo's gonna be dropped, so it's all the Big Boosh. Rogue on a triple kill, and it will be TB actually putting the hammer down on a Big Boosh to give UNCC their 5th round here, and possibly round 6 if I can't count here. I'm not quite sure yet, but round 11 nonetheless coming up, and it is looking very dire for OSU, as it is in fact round 6, and it is match point for this UNCC roster, and they are one round between them and the semifinals of Open League. Open League. I don't know why my brain was like, there's another word that's supposed to come out of this, and it's like, wait, no, there isn't.
Playoffs, maybe you were thinking
Playoffs,
of.
that is the word I was looking for. Thank you.
But yeah, like you said, a brilliant push from UNCC will take them to match point. And you really got to give it up to the team able to come back from the deficit of utility, losing that Ashe so early in that engagement all the way in the basement, with Arno on that very successful initial roam. But it was the rest of the team, UNCC, who really just took on the weight of the Ashe, who was gone, and just took the round for their own. And now we're in a 6-4 situation going towards Plains and Games. This is a site that OSU did successfully defend once and unsuccessfully defended another time. So this could go either way. They did learn from their mistakes. The more recent time they went to Plains and Games, they did find the win. This time, we're not going to see a clash, and it's just going to be, your usual lineup, your Goyo, your Wamai, Smoke, and the Maestro for all that intel, rounded out by Big Boosh on that Jaeger, the role we've seen him in all night. But one thing of note, Big Boosh has been completely shut down on Villa. 3-9. That is completely opposite of what we've seen from him thus far. He's been 9-3 usually at this point, or even higher than that in terms of KD, because he's been having quite a night. But it seems that right now UNCC have found a way to deal with this Mad Lad.
Yeah, and the Mad Lad just getting shut down is unfortunate for OSU, as he was one of the shining spots for his team. And Apollo has been trying his best to actually shore up that little loss of light for Ohio State, but unfortunately for them, it seems that they just cannot contend with the weird Monty picks that you don't necessarily see too often, but it's just these Monty plays, just pushing into sight and just cutting off all of the ways that you would normally actually rotate through sight in a post-point situation, but it's just Monty saying, not today, and it's making these sight retakes so much harder for Ohio State. But now all that remains to be seen is, will they actually be able to adapt to it now, as they have gone to Plains and Games, as you were saying, and so far, there is a ballistic shield impeding the Monty progress up main stairs, but it will get taken out. And it is actually a Goyo shield, so it'll burn a little bit for a little while longer, impeding the process of getting upstairs. And there are now 2 people they know for sure up here, as definitely know for 2 people now. And now there is a Toxic Babe coming out. It just so much utility burned on that main stairs to prevent that Monty from getting upstairs. But there is a lot
of okay, that's just the shadow. That looked like the entire site was burned or something. I don't know what that was, but it's like a black mass in the middle of the site. But we will see a little bit of a aggression coming. Oh dear, if Yeti decides to unshield here, it could be getting really dangerous. Now 3 people over here. There's so much dedication to the side, and Big Bush will take down Kyle Pog, and Arno quickly onto TB. Oh man, Nitro's everywhere. They are just trying to get rid of this Monty, and sometimes it is working, sometimes it is not.
Well, they didn't get rid of the Monty, but they got rid of TB and Kyle Bog early on, and that's going to be a big problem. No more hard breach, and Rogue run into study. Not exactly sure where the shots came from, eventually sussing it out, but he's going to take a couple of shots there for his troubles for the time being. But with 50 seconds left, the attackers need to get something going. They're down a man, and Monty is one of those men. It's not looking too great for them. They're going to have to pull something out. They're against 5 right now. Jabungus turns it to against 4 as 0-2 will be cut down. But now he knows there's a player down 90 to contend with. Combo finds 1. Big Boosh finds another. That's a double kill for Big Boosh on the round. So it's all up to Yeti, but OSU look like they are going to keep on fighting. The Ohio State fighting spirit is keeping on as Yeti, the Monty, the last one remaining. He pretty much has no chance at this one. He's going to be surrounded. And if you're Monty in this situation, there's about a 0% chance you can pull it off. He's going to stare at them, just dance around, but I will call this round in the favor of Ohio State.
Yeah, he's going full turtle behind the vault, trying to save the KD, but won't even be able to save that as Big Boosh Trip picks up the headshot for the triple kill, bringing his team to a 6-5 here, and really, really looking like OSU might be trying to push things to overtime.
Yeah, we're already at round 12, and this could very well go the distance. All OSU have to do is muster a round win. The problem for them is they have to go to a site that we have yet to see, and that would be Kitchen and Dining. They have, I believe they've yet to be on this site. We've only seen the UNCC side of things because it has been back and forth between Plains and Games and split, OSU winning a couple, losing a couple, so it's been pretty balanced. But it is 6-5. OSU fighting for their playoff lives. The clash going to be teased, but will be switched off to a pulse. Again, no surprise, knowing that vertical play is king.
Yeah, vertical play is definitely king here, and especially speaking of that vertical play, we are going to see the pulse coming out of here, and just really, really strong anti-vertical play coming out with all these nitros on the defending side, which is granted 2, but 2 is still a lot in terms of what it used to be. There's a lot of nitros actually taken away in terms of just who are the meta picks and who is just actually meta and still has it after the nitro change, the gadget changes after the introduction of the hard breaches. But definitely curious to see if Combo can still manage to get those nitro kills he's getting earlier on in the match. But we do want to take a quick moment and talk about Arno and Combo right now. They both have 11 and 10 kills respectively, which for one of them being the support player, it's kind of insane. And just, I'm very curious to see if this is going to be the round that breaks the camel's back for UNCC, or if it's going to push OSU over into overtime.
Well, knowing that UNCC got their site choice on this one, OSU will be defending on overtime if they can get there. So that could put them in a serious advantageous position. But honestly, this has gone 50-50. Attackers have won more than defenders right now, and so UNCC trying to emulate some of that success. Yeti clearly proving that he does know what he's doing as a Monty. It hasn't been extremely high tier, but he has not made really more than one crucial mistake. And that's all you really need from a Monty. Just be an information gathering machine, an absolute brick wall pushing into sight, scaring any defenders in your path. And he will do just that, clearing out the top floor. But now the nitros from below are going to be the potential threat. Yeti now pushing down Astronomy Stairs, going to challenge onto the Vigil. That's 0-2, who is no longer roaming, just holding this site for now. But no players are going to be behind Yeti right now. Not going to risk this engagement. But Yeti actually going to take down his shield, maybe challenge on this right now. Could get a bit aggressive here as Big Boosh will be roaming as a Doc. First time I think we've seen the Doc pick tonight, and that's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. But a C4 from below will take down Jabungus to about 20 HP and Rogue to about 70. That's the first one. That was a pretty successful Nitro, and any other Nitros, they don't have to be all that close to do a serious killing blow to either of these players.
And that will be the last Nitro you hear going off. So the Nitros are down for Ohio State. So now it's all left to pure gunplay in terms of what is remaining as far as killing potential. But we do see Arno holding a very, very tight angle into Memorial. And it does look like Kyle Pog and Jabungus are weighing their options about hopping in there. But Yeti is already inside of Dining right now. And he is well on his way to actually trying to get a plant off. But it is the Habana actually taking the time to open up that Dining wall. And Yeti does drop off the diffuser to Habana. So if he does get taken down, it is an awkward. But TB will be the first one to drop Arno, giving Ohio State a little bit of a thing to be worried about, as it is the first person to drop for them. And now Kyle Pog is singing out inside of Memo,
making it even more awkward. But UNCC will clap back into this round, making it even worse for Ohio State with a kill from Rogue onto Combo. And Plant starts to go down from TB. Oh, the cross comes and it almost takes out both of them. But Rogue with the triple kill. It's now a 1v4 situation with just Apollo. Make that a 4v0 as Apollo drops, and it will be UNCC taking the map and the match and moving on to the Open League playoff semifinals.
What a match we've witnessed tonight, Banzai. It was an incredible scrap fest. I mean, both of these teams put on a show for us tonight. As you said, UNCC will be moving on to the semifinals next week. But you have to congratulate both of these teams on a season well fought. But the 14th seed will be dethroning the 6th seed and will be moving on. I gotta say, we saw some really mature Siege from UNCC in those closing rounds. They were using the information from the Monty in combination with some good coordinated pushes, establishment of some vertical play, and they really made it happen in a big way.
Yeah, and speaking of the Monty from Yeti, it will actually be Yeti hopping in here for the interview very shortly, or very now, as he does, I believe, just hop into the chat here. Congratulations on that dub against Ohio State University. How are you feeling?
We're feeling pretty good about that one. It was a really close game for sure. We got a little bit worried after we lost Cafe, but overall it turned out pretty well.
Well, you touch on that worry after you lost Cafe. How were your comms? How did you regroup going into the final map, knowing that OSU did have have the ability to take the fight to you?
We just mentally reset after Cafe. Cafe, I feel like we mostly just lost it because of the Capital play with the Wamai ban.
Mhm.
We didn't really do a good job with dealing with it, and it kept forcing our Pixel players out really early.
Yeah, and we definitely saw that unfold from our perspective. Now, one specific question for you on Cafe. I know we mentioned it in Twitch chat a little bit, and we had a little bit of banter about that. But the specific choice on your first defensive round to go to mining and fireplace rather than any of the other three generally preferred sites on defense there. What was the thought process behind a decision like that?
We really like that strat. It throws a lot of teams off early, and we normally have about like a 75% success rate on it. It was just unfortunate this time around. We got two people picked early, so we ended up losing it.
Have you deployed that strat throughout CEA thus far, or is this your first time you really brought it out?
Yeah, we've played that strat for a couple of months now.
Oh, awesome. Well, again, congratulations on the dub. And Bonsai, you have any questions for Yeti?
Yeah, definitely. Was the rogue nade team kill through the floor intentional? Um,
No, so what happened was we popped the VIP wall, and he tossed
mhm,
a nade towards Pink Bar,
mhm,
and it naded Jabungus through the floor when he was sitting like in Blue Bar, watching
mhm,
Cool Vibe Stairs.
mhm. Okay, so because we saw that on ours and it was kind of comedic because it looked like he claimed it pretty much right as the round ended. Saying he got it through the floor just to make that team kill a little bit more spicy, getting it on a pretty hard nade to land to begin with, but pretty much pure chance thereafter. But
Yeah, that was a
um,
pretty funny one.
Well, Yeti, before we say goodbye to you, do you have any shout outs to any of your supporters or your fans back home that you like to say before we call it?
I would just say really good work from the rest of my teammates. We definitely all pulled our own weight, and when one of us wasn't stepping up, the others did.
All right.
yeah, for sure. And just to remind all of you all at home about what makes the cogs turn here at CEA, want to give a last shout out of the night to our sponsors. Definitely want to give a shout out to CORSAIR, as they are the ones sponsoring some pretty sweet stuff in the prize pools for these teams, should they finish in the 1-2 slots with either a nice headset or a pretty banger keyboard. Definitely want to also give a shout out to What's New.gg, the apparel sponsor of CEA, with
Mm.
some pretty great merch with the mouse pads, which I highly recommend you check out because the Flare mouse pad for CEA looks hella clean. Also, just great designs overall. And also, last but not least, shout out to the OG sponsors, CEA Rogue Energy. Use code CEA for 10% off your checkout of your entire order, especially since we're getting to final season coming up here in a couple of weeks. So make sure you get that extra boost of energy to get that little cram studying in a little bit more. And just want to do a last shout out from us, the casters. My name has been Bonsai, and that man over there has been Jay Wills. Jay's Wills.
Jay's Wills, yes, sir. But it has been a pleasure to cast alongside you tonight, Bonsai. And just a reminder
Likewise.
before all of you disappear, tomorrow night at 9 p.m., same channel, we will be having another fantastic matchup. It'll be Penn State versus Florida International, and that will be casted by Cree and Spades. So be sure to tune in for that one. But once again, thank you all for joining us, and we hope you have a fantastic night and a fantastic weekend.